Beautiful Saturday afternoon in Central Illinois, Sunsplash Memorial Stadium in Champaign. Today, two schools separated by less than 100 miles, playing for the 100th time with a cannon on the line. It's the Purdue Boilermakers taking on the 23rd ranked Illinois Fighting Illini. Glad to have you along for the ride, folks. This is going to be fun. With my partner, the Renaissance man, Spencer Tillman. I am Eric Collins. Let's start with the home team. Illinois last year, just 5 wins the entire season. They've already got 4. A win today could match their total from a year ago. Now, they did lose 2 weeks ago against Penn State, but so much positive momentum around this program.
That partner, they played well against Penn State, maybe saving 2 or 3 plays. I think among the one-loss teams that are out there, saving Alabama, they're as good as anybody out there. They're strong.
Well, Illinois is going to have to play a man down today. Breaking news, their leading rusher, Caden Fagan, he will not play today. That means we're going to get a start from Aiden Lawfrey.
Aiden Lawfrey's got huge weight on his shoulders right now because you know Brett Bielema, a partner, loves to establish the run game. That's what he's all about. And the Caden Fagan is about 6'3", 250 pounds. You don't have that size if you're Aiden, but you've got the pressure that's there. In order to get Luke Altmaier unleashed, you've got to get those wide receivers going to Zachary Franklin, Pat Bryant opposite of him, and X and Z are really critical to the success. But again, it comes full circle, partner, back to Aiden Lawfrey.
All right, let's switch gears now and talk about the visitors from the East, the Purdue Boilermakers. They won their first game of the season. They've since lost 4 consecutive, and now they're playing without their starting quarterback, Hudson Card. He's got out for the next, we don't know, but we do know it's going to be a backup in Ryan Brown, the starter. Ryan
Brown doesn't have a large sample size, right? He hadn't played very much, so the experience is heavy on him. He's going to trust some running backs to help him out along the way. Devin McAbee, Reggie Love. Those 2 guys will need to step up to make this game a little bit longer than it would be otherwise. The problem is they have not been able to convert on 3rd downs. That's a big deal today. If not, it's going to be a rout.
Let's do it. The 100th meeting all time between Purdue and Illinois will play for the Cannon Trophy. Big Ten football from Champaign. Pop the cork, everybody. We've got the Boilermakers. We have got the Illini. Our kickoff coming your way in a moment. A lot of pomp and circumstance here in Champaign. We're at Memorial Stadium. Next week they'll be celebrating the 100th anniversary, the dedication of this great building, but that's for next week. This will be the 100th meeting between Purdue and Illinois. This has been dominated in recent vintage by the Boilermakers. They have won 4 straight, including 6 consecutive here in this building. Overall, Purdue has 3 more wins than Illinois does in this series, in which a cannon is on the line. The Cannon Trophy, Spencer Tillman.
And I thought it was odd that the first iteration of this thing, when it started over 100 years ago, Purdue actually won it, brought the cannon, and never shot the thing off, man. They won in a rout.
Got to shoot your cannon. Illinois won the toss. Brett Bielema loves his defense. He deferred the option to the second half, so Purdue's offense will be on the field. Machowski kicks it off. He's got a massive leg. Spinning kickoff into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. Purdue ball at the 25-yard line. Quarterback for Purdue, Ryan Brown, redshirt freshman. He's kind of been all over the board. He was born and raised in Michigan, played high school ball down in Florida, also spent a PG year in Milford, Connecticut. He will get the opportunity to replace Hudson Card today.
Well, we'll see exactly what Aaron Henry does in terms of whether or not they choose to pressure him early on. That's the key. We talked about in the open, not a large sample size. He's got great size, his 6'4", 210 partner. But again, let's see how he handles it. Lack of experience, a big factor here.
His most significant playing time a year ago came off the bench in a game, a loss against Northwestern. But he looks the part. Big right-handed thrower. Starts in the pistol. He's got Devin McAbee next to him. Design quarterback run, and Brown gets thumped to the ground. Dennis Briggs makes that tackle. Let's talk about the rest of the Boilermaker offense. Standard 5, Stewart, Musa, Hartwig, Wingfield, and Bowe up front. Skill position, Devin McAbee. I'm telling you, folks, he's got an outside chance of passing Mike Allstock in the years to come.
Well, that's
and being
time.
The greatest runner in Purdue history. Max Clare's their tight end. They really like him.
Back to a more conventional look here. They came out on a double stack. Expect a lot of that from Jason Simmons, the analyst calling plays.
Here's McAbee. Makes it through that first wave and gets out to the 32-yard line. Defensively, Aaron Henry, the defensive coordinator His Illini defense, they're giving up 14 points per game. That is a low number. Coleman, Rosiak in the linebacker spots. They're telling us that Rosiak was banged up in weeks past. He's healthy again. Got a couple of Scotts and Caleb Patterson, one of the corners. We talked to Xavier Scott, and he said Caleb Patterson's going to have a good game today.
Yeah, I love his assessment, too, and we'll get into his story. He's got great narratives on the back end of Brett Bielema's defense. Aaron Henry has got some love, no love lost here for this group right now. We'll tell you why coming up.
Third down at 3. Purdue has really struggled on third downs. Brown chased out of the pocket. He's got good wheels, and he's got the first down. Okay, so that is a great start for Purdue. They slay a demon by getting a first down on third down.
Yeah, T.R. Edwards, the nose tackle, was the guy that was chasing him, but he doesn't have the speed to catch him. But you can see the elusiveness of the quarterback that doesn't have the big sample size. Runs away from big number 23 Edwards there, put him in his hip pocket, and this guy's really moved the chains. This is what they need to do to steal possessions away from the Illini.
First down at 10.
Back to that double stack formation outside to reduce the numbers inside.
Second chance for Maccabee. Just skips over the first would-be tackler and gets out to the 43-yard line.
Somebody lost a helmet out there to come out, whoever it was, an Illini player.
That is Seth Coleman, who will have to leave for a play.
And you expect to see more than a few helmets come off today. The way they fly around there, Aaron Henry has got this little mayhem belt thing. Just keeps it internal, a little bit different motivation factor, but it's special to them, and it's predicated on their ability to fly around and make plays like that.
Quarterback keeper again. Brown's got another first down.
Wow,
oh, he can scoop. Gave the old dead leg at the 45-yard line, and the chains will move.
When you talk about big guy moving in space like that, the elusiveness, he looks more like Card than he does, you know? He gets it back and seats it, the mesh at the point, sells that thing extremely well, and it just gets upfield. That's what you need to do. So twice now he's moved the chains. We thought the running backs were going to be the ones to do it. They're getting the run game accomplished. Hats off to Jason Simmons, the play caller analyst.
Former Illini back Reggie Love comes into the game.
Nice.
They fake to him, another quarterback keeper, and Brown gets to the 37. Ryan Brown's an interesting guy. He looks the part. He's 6'4", 210. His father played Division I football, played at Northwestern and at Boston College. He comes from a great high school program down in Venice, Florida, where he won a lot.
Yep.
Yet, for some reason, he's been an under-the-radar guy who's considered a 3-star recruit.
I think the hidden advantage is, you know, that pedigree can be an asset. You can't transfer confidence necessarily, partner, but that pedigree makes you more familiar. And the pistol formation now moves it out to help him protection-wise. Inside zone read here, softening it up.
Oh, look at Love go! There is a flag down, but the former Illini back bursts down to the 12-yard line.
Well, I tell you what, they had softened that thing that Purdue Boilermakers in the middle of that front up to the point where they got movement.
Offense, number 55, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Oh, boy. DJ Wingfield wipes out what would have been a 25-yard gain.
And that's unfortunate, too, because the middle of this front isn't going to stay soft very long, because Aaron Henry is an outstanding defensive coordinator, and he's going to find a way to populate numbers there. There you can see the outstretched arm. When you start reaching out and you can't go anywhere, that means somebody's holding you. They're going to catch that every single time.
So instead of a 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line, the ball is moved all the way back to the 44. Second down.
Nice.
And Brown again gets into that secondary relatively easily. It's going to be third down.
I'm so impressed with his vision. He reads like a running back. I mean, the way he's able to see those soft voids in this front. I mean, this is an active front. We know about that, but man, those 3-down linemen are going to have to understand. Maybe they go back to more of a pure, what we call, since we're in this part of the country, bear look with 5-down linemen. Some of them have their hands up, some of them down. But the sheer number of 5 is going to reduce the availability for him to take those large gains in the middle of the defense.
It's kind of an awkward spot on the field. You'd imagine this could be 4-down territory if Purdue doesn't pick up the first down here on 3rd and 4. They put Edrin in the backfield. Brown has to get rid of it. It is caught close to the line to gain. Jerron Tibbs. He's going to be just short, though.
And I think they go for it, partner. You can see there's little activity on this side. That decision has already been made. They're going to go for this, and I take my hat off to Jason Simmons right now. He has nothing to lose right now. He's in a tough spot. He's going to find a way to steal possessions, and this is one way to stamp your mark right now.
Wide formation. Maccabee, the only back next to Brown.
Now, they've run with the quarterback every time when they've come into this formation. Let's see if they stay consistent.
Quick hitter. What an open field stop made on the edge. Edrin caught the pass, but he had no chance of avoiding that tackle.
Well, you can't outthink yourself. You came out 2 other occasions with that double stack, and the formation or the defensive response was the same. Instead of just running your quarterback, he decides to throw it. Again, maybe Jason Simmons outthought this thing a little bit more than typically. Look at these guys stacked out. You got 2 guys stacked out top, 2 up top. The defense, the numbers are reduced in the middle of the field. Run it where you've had success heretofore.
The smallest player on the Illini roster made that tackle. That is Torrey Cox, who is generously listed at 5'9", 170 pounds.
Well, if you can make tackles in space, you can play for Aaron Henry, that's for sure.
What a comeback year for Luke Altmaier. Last year, kind of up and down, a lot of picks. This year, not so much. You look at the touchdown-interception ratio. The 14 interceptions deceptive, because those all came last year. Only 1 pick so far this year. No Caden Fagan. Illinois starts in the air. Lawfrey comes out of the backfield. And Lawfrey pushes the pile out to the 44-yard line. That's
a good near 6-yard gain on first down, and now you're in immediate conflict scenario. You got 4, you got 2 extra downs to make that. That's excellent job.
Through 5 games a year ago, Altmaier, 7 interceptions to just 5 tutties. This year, 11-1.
I don't think he's going to be under the kind of pressure that Penn State put him on. They sacked him 7 times. This is a little different.
Lawfrey is going to be short of the line to gain, being on 3rd down. Now the offense for the Illini, they are making one change. There's a new right guard, Brandon Henderson, his first start as a college player. Cy Chrysler will come off the bench. He had been the starting right guard. And the big news in the backfield, no Caden Fagan. He's injured. Nothing has been specified. So Lawfrey is making the start in the backfield. We'll also see Josh McCray and Khalil Valentine.
Well, these running backs have got to do it by committee. If not, they're replacing the big asset they have in Fagan. They need some help.
McCray on 3rd down. He'll have enough for the first down. McCray listed at 6'1", 235 pounds, pushes the pile forward, and that's the first down for Illinois.
Well, that's exactly what they want to accomplish, and it's the alternate thing that Purdue wants to see happen. They don't want to see them advance the ball and then get this defense worn out early in this contest and end up being back on their heels.
Just going to throw it out there. Illinois, their last 3 games, have started their offensive possessions with a touchdown. Lawfrey moves in motion next to Altmaier. Altmaier wants a bunch, has a man, it is caught. Colin Dixon down to the 10. First big play of the game.
Yep, and Dylan Thieneman is back there, the free safety, number 31. You can see it's a twins look formation. It's just a straight go route, right? And if you're expecting that guy that's in a hybrid role to cover that, that's a tough call.
Illinois quickly to the line of scrimmage, trying to catch Purdue napping, and they don't. 2nd down.
Alan Green, the boundary cornerback, was able to get his hands up in the air and affect the pass. Otherwise, I think that might have been a walk-in. Great defense on the back end for this Purdue Boilermaker defense. Kevin Kane got him wind up.
Pat Bryant's been a big weapon for Illinois in the red zone. He's got 6 touchdowns on the year. He's number 13, slot bottom of your screen. Lawfrey. Stone. Defensively, Kevin Kane, the defensive coordinator for Purdue. This is a team that had not had a turnover the first 4 weeks of the year. They did have 2 interceptions against Wisconsin.
And one thing they got to be concerned about is these wide receivers for the Illini can really block, right? Colin Dixon, number 17, wherever they put him in the slot. Pat Bryant, number 3. Franklin, number 4, they love to block downfield.
McCray in the backfield. 3rd down and 8. Altmaier in trouble, and he goes down. Jaira Ojada.
Big number 99, playing that nose tackle position, the arm over and then the rip through. Great ability to see and hunt and stay lateral to the line of scrimmage and show you some of that sudden burst. Outstanding defensive effort right there.
So the field goal unit will come on. David Olano. This will be a 30-yard field goal. You betcha. So the Illini would have loved the 7. They'll take the 3.
I think you got to consider that a win, partner.
3-0 is our score. Purdue gets the football when we come back.
The Gophers
Off to the races.
head to the Rose Bowl
UCLA
for a clash with the Bruins.
makes his presence felt.
Big Ten football tonight at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network.
Welcome back, everyone. Good start for the locals. Illinois leads Purdue 3-0. We're almost 9 minutes into our game. Both sides have had the football exactly 1 time.
And if you're the Boilermakers, you got to consider that last possession a win, just to hold this team who's had 2 weeks to get prepared for you and be ready to do what they do best. You can hold them to 3. I think that's a margin that you can live with.
Last year, Purdue had a decisive win against Illinois. That game, of course, was in West Lafayette. And Machowski just showing off now. That goes through the back of the end zone. 2 guys that know a lot about each other. Ryan Walters spent 2 seasons on Brett Bielema's staff here in Illinois. This is now his 2nd year at Purdue. Things aren't going great. To be quite frank, in his 2nd season, he needs as many wins as he can get soon. Brett Bielema, he has never lost against Purdue as the coach at Wisconsin. He has never won against Purdue as the coach here at Illinois.
Well, there are no surprises here. I remember a couple of years ago, Brett telling me personally that he knew that Ryan Walters was going to be a head coach someplace. The difficult thing, and what he couldn't have predicted at the time, he was going to end up taking all of those assistant coaches with him to Purdue to that new gig.
Reggie Love also went from Illinois to Purdue. He's in the game right now wearing 23 in the backfield for the Boilermakers. Love's got it. And he is shot through that first line of defenders out to the 32-yard line.
I tell you right now, Eric, what the Illini has got to do is find a way to deal with those inside pop plays, whether it's the quarterback or the running backs who are in modes of replacement. It's too much yardage been given up in the middle of the heart of that defense. And it's a flex defense. This is a multiple front. So Aaron Henry does a lot of movement, but he's got to establish some stability in the inside.
Brown showing off that arm for the first time, and it's a great pass, but the catch isn't made. Oh my, Leland Smith had it step. You can't throw a better ball than that.
Well, you can't throw a better ball than that, and that's unfortunate that you're on the back end and you can't make that play. That's Caleb Patterson back there, number 22, and he's trying to defend that ball, and he's in good position, but you still got to go make that play, man. And they're going to need the ability to make those legitimate catches downfield, and that was what I call a legitimate opportunity. Those weren't some of those shots just to say, hey, we're going to do it, just to keep you off of us.
Third down's been a bugaboo for Purdue. Brown. Very patient. And Brown struggles forward, and he's going to be just shy. Just shy. We're talking a half yard.
I tell you what, this defense is really interesting. They're going to go ahead and force the punt here, but if Brown can get that, well, it will be successive series where he's been able to move the chains and shorten this game from the standpoint of what we talked about in the open. Find a way to keep this offense off the football field. They're doing a decent job of that today.
Keelan Crimmins is the punter. Crimmins will punt back deep is Beatty. Hank Beatty, very good as a returner this year. Averages close to 15 yards per return. And this time decides that discretion is the better part of valor. Calls for the fair catch. We've got a timeout on the field. 4:36 remaining in our first quarter. 3-0 Illini. They've been playing football at Illinois for 135 years, and one of the greatest in college football is that man right there, number 50, Dick Butkus. Played in the early 60s, back when the helmet had 4 stars on the side. They only had that for like a 5-year window. It was the entire time. Dick Butkus was mean. He was fast. He was the epitome of what a linebacker should be.
Richard Marvin Butkus. There was only one like him. I mean, and that's him. He's the original, right? And can you name 4, since we're talking about 4 stars, can you name 4 of the stars that would even be close to the Pantheon? If you were doing a Mount Rushmore, maybe a Ray Lewis would be in that group, you know, maybe.
I'd put Butkus on top of him.
Oh, definitely Butkus at the top now. I'm just trying to get 3, 2,
another
1.
great one actually played at Illinois, Ray Nitschke.
Oh, yeah.
Green Bay Packer.
Good question.
Khalil Valentine in the game for the Illini, number 5. Remember, no Caden Fagan. Fagan injured, will not play today. Second offensive possession for the Fighting Illini. And movement. We've got a flag.
False start. Offense to 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Brandon Henderson in that right guard position up, in replacement of Chrysler. And got to hold your water, man.
So it's first down at 15. They give it to Valentine, and look at that move. He was going right. The play was designed to go right. He goes left, and it should have worked, but Nyland Green held his water.
Yeah, and he had a great idea to come back against the grain. Everybody is slanting to the right up front, and he just kind of flows like water back to the open side. And at the last minute, he tried to shift that ball to the opposite hand.
Spencer, you were a great tailback at Oklahoma. If you have instincts to tell you go where the play's not going, are you allowed to do that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because what you're reading is your keys, and those are the linebackers. If they over pursue, you have liberty and license, and I would say responsibility to go against the grain.
Valentine remains in the game. Altmaier. Franklin his first touch, and Zakari Franklin has a first down.
Oh, I absolutely love this partner. In our time together with Barry Lunny yesterday, I mentioned the split flow. This is what split flow looks like. When you've got guys going one direction, what it does, it affects the eye discipline of those linebackers. So you got a receiver coming to the flat, the back is going opposite direction, and it's very difficult, and you get those chunk plays for 16 net yards. That's what they're able to do with Barry Lunny's scheme.
So the ball moves out to the 41-yard line. They move J.C. Davis, split a little bit wide right. Valentine tripped up in the backfield. Cole Brevard makes that stop.
Well, you talk about Cole Brevard, man, that guy right there was reading like a computer, man. Number 91, the big cat, steps in there and just owns that line of scrimmage. -2 yards, man. Watch him he's just so big, and he's strutting talk. Look at him. He's walking. He's like a peacock, man.
Suburban Indianapolis guy. He's from Carmel, Indiana. So it's second and 12. Valentine gets put in motion. Altmaier, the blitz is on. He escapes. And incomplete. Good hand by Kendrick Breedlove, who's been a pass breakup waiting to happen in recent weeks.
Yeah, it's a great job, and it's unfortunate they was not able to complete that because the Boilermakers actually dialed up a pressure look that really opened things up for him on the edges, and so had what we call an outside game working.
Illinois 1 for 2 on third downs here in our first quarter. Josh McCray back into the game. Tons of time for Altmaier. Throws a dart, strike, first down, still on his feet. This is Pat Bryant down to the 32.
I told you, Eric, this guy's a beast, man. They'll put him at Z, they'll put him up everywhere, but at 6'3", 200 pounds, the senior from Atlantic Coast is unbelievable across the middle of the field. Watch him get up the field and then push the nice hard over the middle. It's just basically an in cut is what it is. And he's going to turn his eyes to the quarterback, but also be mindful of the coverage over the top so as to not cover himself and take an unnecessary shot.
Looked like Aurelius Ben did back in the day with that big body of his. First down at 10.
Good call.
This is McCray. And McCray pushes the pile for a gain of 8 yards on first down.
Now you're getting the ebb and flow and the mix of what Barry Lunny's able to do. Success in the throw game, throw a little split flow in there, work the edges in the middle. So he's what I call painting the breadth and the width of the field to have success against this Boilermaker defense.
The breadth and the width of the field.
Absolutely.
Painting it. Second down and 2. You'd imagine the entire playbook is available for Illinois.
No question.
They split the tight end, Tanner Arkin out wide. And a flag. This is going to be on Arkin, I think, for not getting set.
Off start.
Twice on
Offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's on J.C. Davis. But there was movement from the tight end closer to the line. And
yeah, he's a senior transfer. You don't expect guys like that. Listen, you're at home, right? And you're the end man on the line of scrimmage, so we understand that. But if you were in foreign territory, maybe you get moved a little bit. But at home, the crowd is quiet. They're going to give you grace. Shouldn't make that kind of mistake down here.
in the game against Penn State, huge part of the game was when Illinois had a first and goal, and then penalties and snafus took them out of scoring range, and they eventually missed a field goal. Oldmeyer has a man. This is Bryant. And Bryant steps out of bounds, but he takes it all the way down to the 11-yard line.
Well, Bryant's a load. I tell you, we already talked about his size, man. And I love the way they're mixing him up. They use him at the top of the field. They put him down on the short side of the field. He's able to use that long frame against these undersized defensive backs. And that would be a term you could use relative to any organization that has cornerbacks that are 5'11", 5'10". He would be a mismatch for those matchups.
It's maybe the final play of the first quarter.
Yep, goes fast.
This has been a quick first quarter. First down at 10. McCray in the backfield. They give it to McCray. Again, reverses field, and it's good for a touchdown. Josh McCray, give him 6.
Well, Josh finally got those guys working in concert. No penalties or anything like that. J.C. Davis, Gansky, Chrysler, and Melvin Priestley, and whoever else in there at any given time has got the responsibility to clear the pathway. That's their mission, should they choose to accept it. A heavy dose of that today to keep these Boilermakers at bay.
2 possessions, 9 points with a free throw or extra point pending. Olano. It is a 10-0 lead for Illinois. 8 plays, 73 yards. McCray, his second rushing touchdown of the year. Welcome back, everyone. Good start for Brett Bielema's Illinois Fighting Illini as they try and get to 5-1 on the year. Try and get to 2-1 in conference play. 8 plays, 73 yards. Touchdown run by Josh McCray. How much of a worry is it for Brett Bielema playing a game without Caden Fagan, knowing that you still have McCray, Lawfrey, and Valentine?
Well, it's a luxury that you've got McCray and these guys. And again, you have to put an asterisk by because it is Purdue who's struggling right now. We understand that. But Brett Bielema is a guy who's Big Ten through and through. He wants to run the football. When he's at Wisconsin, we used to talk about the run game, how important it is set up. Now the conference is changing now. You've got teams that can throw the ball. So you've got to have a modicum of balance to have success. So there's going to be a little bit of departure of that. And we've seen them today so far with the plays that Barry Lunny has called, the offensive coordinator. He can open things up a little bit, and he's got some weapons outside to make that happen.
Okay, this is going to be our third look at Ryan Brown and the Purdue offense. Brown getting the start with Hudson Card unavailable. So far, Brown has thrown the ball 3 times, 2 completions. He has been most impressive running the football. 6 rushes, 36 yards for Brown.
And through the heart of that Illini defense up the middle.
Maccabee. Man, I like the way he runs. Out across the 30 to the 31. That will be the final play of our first quarter.
And they need to let that carry over to the second quarter part of that soft spot.
Okay, we've got 15 minutes in the books with the Cannon Trophy on the line. So far, so good for Illinois. Start of our second quarter, Purdue on offense, the Illini on defense up 10-0. This Illini defense has been really impressive. Aaron Henry's defensive coordinator, and these are the rankings. Opponents' points per game. That is huge. They're only allowing 14 points per game, Spencer. That's 12th best in the country.
About cut that in half, and again, they're looking more like when Ryan Walters was a defensive coordinator here. Not should come as no surprise. Aaron Henry was on that staff early on before he bolted for Purdue.
Quarterback keeper, look at Brown. He is out to the 48-yard line. Matthew Bailey with the tackle, but that's another good gainer, 16 more for Brown.
And when this Illini defense strengthens up, we'll talk a little bit about the system that makes it work, but we got to talk about the reality of why it's not working. And this big quarterback has found a home right to the heart of this Illini defensive front.
Purdue, of course, the cradle of quarterbacks. You got Drew Brees, you got Curtis Painter, you got Mike Phipps, Gary Danielson, Bob Greasy, Scott Herman, Mark Herman, Scott Gamble. And we got a running quarterback in our game. Tries to pass and can't get it off. Just crunched in the backfield. T-Rod Edwards and others with the stop.
They've run this formation or got into this double stack 4 times now. When they've tried to throw it, each time is met with unbelievably bad results. You got to go back to running the football against this front. But why? Because it's working. The numbers are depopulating the tackle-to-tackle box, and so you've got a 5-man advantage in that area. Run it away from the numbers.
That's a loss of 11 on that sack. Combo sack, Rosiak and Edwards. Brown.
Good job.
Lobs it out of bounds.
Well, everybody's covered up, and Brown did an excellent job of just throwing that one away. Even the outlet pass at the back was covered up and just did the smart thing to live another day. There's Coach Ryan Walters.
Yeah, there's guys on this Illinois defense that were recruited thinking they were going to play for Ryan Walters.
I tell you what, he's really an unbelievably intelligent man, and he comes off and can be misinterpreted from time. But when you sit down and talk to him about and ask him the right questions about the game, this guy right here is unbelievable. He's sharp as a tack. Going through a tough run of it now and hope he survives.
Third down.
Nice job.
Playing the field position game, trying to get something and avoid the negative play. Brown does have to take another hit, gets out to the 41.
Well, listen, I like what Jason Simmons, the play caller / analyst, is trying to do here. But when you have a soft spot or vulnerable area in the front and it's worked from you, that little delay with the quarterback is not going to serve you well. He's not a running back. It's going to take him longer to get to that line of scrimmage. Continue to exploit and have the success that you did. If you have to do a short drop, get in there and find that weakness and continue to exploit it. Forget about those faux formations and then trying to throw the ball in it. That's not where the success is coming.
This is now the second game that Jason Simmons has called the plays for Purdue. Beatty's back deep.
That's nice.
Oh my goodness, he's got a feel of the 1. You never see this. Look at Beatty. Out to the 25. He caught that at the 1 and retreated into the end zone.
Oh, he was in trouble. I thought he was more like Warren Beatty when he came back to that end zone. I said, you're in trouble now, big boy.
Hank Beatty, I like your style. With the swagger of a NASCAR veteran, he fielded that one. 24-yard return. Luke Altmaier Off to a really good start, Spencer Tillman.
Well, he has been impressive, and again, he's going to need that because the stretch they're about ready to get to is going to be really tough, probably since the 2005 season when they face as many highly ranked teams that they're about to face in this conference. They're going to need him with his A game, and he's so far shown it today.
First quarter, 111 yards passing for Altmaier. That is the best start as a collegian for Altmaier. Never had more than 111 in the first quarter. Lawfree looking for a hole. Nothing really ever developed. Lawfree getting the lion's share of the carries. We've also seen Khalil Valentine and Josh McCray. If you're just joining us, Caden Fagan injured, undisclosed injury, will not play today. Fagan came into this one leading the team in rushing yards, 306 yards through the first 5 games. Just a 3-man rush, and then find the tight end. First catch for Tanner Arkin.
Well, that was a tight window, man, but that just shows you. Auburn, again, we talked about him playing at a high level right now, particularly in the throw game. His best asset as a runner is down. He is showing no signs of weakness in the throw game. Great decision-making right there. Against Penn State, he made a couple of poor choices, but I'm telling you, outside of that interception where they caught him on a kind of a robber concept and stole a route from him, he played an excellent game, I thought.
2 tight ends in the game, and they want to run in this formation. Lawfrey is nailed. Kadron Jenkins, the senior, smokes him. That'd be a loss of 2.
The senior to Jefferson County, man, comes in there, and he is like a cat-quick defender. Watch him just rip. And number 4, watch him come inside here and then stand up and not get moved at the line of scrimmage. You know, a lot of time, guys, their leverage is working so far in one direction, it's tough for them to kind of recalibrate. Instead, he sits down in a good football position and makes a great tackle.
First time we've seen Valentine and McCray in the backfield together. Altmaier doesn't really want to run. Somebody's got tangled up, and that may be a flag. I think they just got tangled up. There was nothing look malicious. And there is no flag down. Clearly the fans here at Memorial Stadium think something untoward happened.
It's all right. You know, Dixon is down there, and a lot of guys are just kind of muffing around. He trips on the chain, and that's what happened. You know, that's inadvertent. Wise decision by the officials. He actually tries to pull up and help the quarterback, but he trips over the chain.
I'd make the argument that the defender helped. Actually took the worst of the blow.
Yep.
So it's 3rd down at 12. This is not what Illinois was hoping for. Altmaier. Back shoulder throw incomplete. Looking for Franklin.
Kevin Kane decides to stay back in zone coverage and just rush 4, no pressure, and see if Auburn has a hot hand to beat man coverage. And here's a nice job. Never turns back and really looks until late. You know, you could make the argument there was some early contact there on that particular play, but the bottom line is you got to make that indisputable.
Fans here.
I think he got his head around just enough.
They're looking at the video board and they do not agree, but a flag wasn't warranted. Okay, we're going to have Dylan Thieneman on the return. He muffed 2 punts a week ago against Wisconsin.
And he's got a little sun in his face, too. Remember, that was the issue.
Low returnable kick. Not so returnable. He is tackled the moment he catches the football. So, Purdue's defense forces a 3 and out. Purdue's on offense when we return. Illinois leading Purdue 10-0. Illinois coming off a loss 2 weeks ago with Penn State. No shame in that. Playing in State College. They have done a lot of really fun things this year. They started 4-0. Get this, just the 4th time since 1936. How's that possible? They already have 2 wins against ranked opponents. And as we mentioned, that loss at Penn State, that's going to happen to a lot of teams. It was a 21-7 final, but it was closer than that for the lion's share of the game. And Spencer, these are the only teams that have 2 wins against top 25 programs.
And this right here acquits them well. If they can continue to play the type of balanced approach, get their big, healthy back into the lineup, I think they're going to get some dangerous situations down the stretch in the Big Ten. And as you talked about in terms of single wins, 25 times in a single season for the first time since 2007. So that's amazing. Twice now they've beaten ranked teams. This is early.
And before this drive can start, we've got a flag down. Ron Snodgrass wearing that white hat as our referee.
Ball start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Corey Stewart.
Yeah, the redshirt senior transfer from East Nashville went to a magnet school there. And again, this is twice today we've seen tackles. Guys on the end of the line of scrimmage have problems down there with movement. And maybe there is an issue down there, but it's happened for both the home team and the road team.
Former Illini runner Reggie Love in the backfield. Brown, this has been their best play.
Yep.
Quarterback keeper, and Brown turns the edge and has enough for the 1st down.
And see, clearly the game plan didn't call for him necessarily do that. Now, I asked Brett Bielema this question yesterday, and we also posed it to Aaron Henry, the defensive coordinator. When you're playing a guy and you get news that the starter that you prepared for is not going to be playing and you don't have access to those players, you got 20 hours a week to be with them, who do you deal with more? He says it's about the coaches.
Love to the edge. Tackled at the 44, Miles Scott hits his former teammate.
And that's a big deal. I want to underscore that again. You're not able to go out in the field and rep Brown. You know, you say, well, what can Brown do for you? Well, we're not quite sure. We don't know what he can do, but he can run, right? But you're going to find that out in real time, and then can you adjust to it?
Yeah, Brown's got all the earmarks of a classic Purdue drop-back passer. 6'4", 220 pounds, but his legs have been the most impressive thing today. Decides to throw when he had a sure first down, and the pass is incomplete.
He had one defender in front of him, but he just kept that ball and continued to do what's worked for him, and then forced his defense to defend him, right? So he's got the speed to get out there. You got a guy in his hip pocket that you've already beaten to the sticks. They're right there, man. Tuck that thing and run.
That was Caleb Patterson we credited with a pass broken up. And Purdue, they've only converted 1 third down. They're 1 for 4 on third downs so far in our first half.
This is huge right here. This is what...
And a flag. This is before they even got to the line.
Yeah, and it's going to be against Purdue, too.
Illegal substitution. Offense broke the huddle with more than 11 players. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So the 3rd and 2 is going to swell to 3rd and 7.
Well, that's kind of par for the course of where this program is right now, right? New personnel, new play caller, analysts in a new role, not even technically officially called the offensive coordinator. So again, great reputation as a head high school coach, 3 different institutions, great success, but they've got to find a way to get the continuity back to have a chance to beat Illini.
Purdue's not converted their last 3 third downs. Blitz is on. Brown caught. Oh, that'll be a first down. The tight end, Max Clare. What a big play for Purdue to stay on the field. Oh, there's a flag in the defensive backfield. There's no way that flag could be against Purdue.
Well, the flag withstanding, I absolutely love the play call.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 5. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Woo. That is Torrey Cox. Smallest man on the field, 5'9", 170, getting into it.
Yeah, they're downfield and they're chicken fighting downfield.
Pressure.
Sometimes you...
Well, he needs to pick on someone else. He's picking on Jamel Edrin, who's 6'3", 220.
And this is where you got to have that snap and clear mentality and move on to the next play. Otherwise, you're going to let a team that's struggling move the chains on you.
Love this formation. Devin Mockabee is the deep man. Straight up the gut.
Nice.
Mockabee to the edge. Look at Mockabee go. Pushed out of bounds at the 4. Miles Scott saves a touchdown, but the biggest play of the game for the Boilers.
Mockabee was on a mission there, man. You can see him on that inverted bone. You like that formation? It's
inverted. Bone, love
it's
it.
an inverted bone, and it's basically the same thing. Option, and it gets success right in the middle of the heart of this defense that has been a little bit porous for the Illini. Excellent job. Great play call by Jason Simmons.
So Mockabee now with 53 yards in his first half. He had 100 yards in the win against Illinois a year ago. Again, the inverted bone. Now they move Mockabee to Brown's side. And a flag. Another false start.
Yep. And I'll tell you, Purdue is looking kind of like what the Illini was last week.
False start. Offense. Left guard. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Muhammad Musa.
So they're taking turns, the tackles. Musa in the middle of the guard position. Those guys have got to find a way to not shoot themselves in the foot. A lot of newness going on. You know, offense is a creative process. It takes longer to create continuity than it does to destroy it.
Mockabee. He doesn't have the speed, but the way he runs with those high hips, he reminds me of Robert Smith.
Interesting. Great call for our colleague, right?
Yeah.
Robert had that loping kind of guy, but he covered a lot of space. He had that functional speed.
World-class speed.
You're absolutely right, man.
World-class speed. Oh, yeah.
Guys like that can be deceptive, right? They've got those long striders. I think the thing that's really the take here is where the yardage have been. It's been right in the middle of the field. And when it finally populated, Brown has found success on the edges.
All right, Reggie Love playing against his former team. He replaces Mockabee in the backfield. Love would love a touchdown.
Yeah, true personnel. This is NFL style right here. The inside zone. Run it.
Brown goes down. That doesn't work close to the goal line. T-Raw Edwards.
Tell you what, Aaron Henry was ready for that. Edwards, a big fella, came in there. Edwards, and showed you with great leverage how you play the backside of this. The quarterback probably wanted to bend that thing back inside, but he says, not today, big fella.
Purdue doesn't want to settle for a field goal.
They got a nice little pivot route here in a receiver option.
Brown.
Nice.
Tight end's got it, and Claire is tackled. Open field tackle saves the touchdown. That's Dylan Rosiak.
Now, Rosiak, good to see him. You know, he's been nursing a groin, and he's a captain. He hasn't been necessarily up to his best potential because you saw that inability to have lateral movement against Penn State, and they took advantage of that. But he's able to be Johnny on the spot now and deny a touchdown for Purdue.
Spencer Porath will come on. This will be a 22-yard field goal attempt. And Porath's kick is good. So Purdue is on the board, but their streak of no touchdowns continues. They haven't scored a touchdown in a couple of games. 10-3 ball game here in Champaign. .41 remaining here in our first half. Memorial Stadium, Champaign, Illinois. Boilermakers are on the board. 74 yards. The big play, that run by Mockabee to get him into the red zone, but they can't get the touchdown. Instead, it's a field goal. Last time Purdue scored a touchdown was September 28th in the loss against Nebraska. They played Wisconsin last week and only had 6 points on 2 field goals. And here in our first half, just 1 field goal in the first 25 minutes.
Red zone futility, a big problem all year long.
Wiltshire is back deep, and the wind is blowing that direction.
Yeah, it is.
And it goes through the back of the end zone.
These flags are taut going back that way, man. I've been impressed with Altamonte's year-over-year production and his command in the huddle. Now, they protected him much better than they did a year ago. And I'm impressed with the fact that he doesn't have his big gun at running back today, but yet he still found a level of comfort. And you may make the argument that you should against Purdue. They're a struggling team trying to find who they are.
Barry Lunny is the offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Had a really enlightening conversation with him yesterday. And around, this is going to be Bryant. And read beautifully by Tillman. Tillman comes up from his safety spot and thwarts what could have been a big play. It's only a gain of 3.
I love what Barry's doing, though, with those tight bunch formations. He's able to run off of it. Obviously, clearly, you can throw out of it as well. And I would imagine that they'll do some other things, too, because every play that you have success on, you have to have a match, something that looks the same structurally, but you do something different.
They fake it to McCray.
That should be a flag right there.
It's McCray over the middle. He's got the catch, and he has the first down. A receiver fell down in the secondary. You said he was pushed?
I think he was helped to fall down. It was a little involuntary fall down there. He's right about the 50.
Defense, number 19. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Fortress Alessandro.
Alessandro, again, is trying to prevent him from crossing his face, and he just grabs him around the hip area and causes him to stumble, and that's what the call was. Excellent call. Wide open field.
You rarely say this in a Big Ten game, but Alessandro's hometown is New Hampshire.
How about that?
From the Granite State.
How'd that thing work out?
Yeah, Manchester, New Hampshire of all places. Alessandro made his first collegiate start a week ago against Wisconsin. Getting some burn here for second consecutive week.
The holding will be enforced from the previous spot, the 28-yard line. First down.
Kevin Kane, the defensive coordinator for Purdue, likes to play what we call a lot of match coverage. It's basically man-to-man, and he'll have a single high safety way at the top of his formations, and all that means is they want him to cover a lot of water. And so when you're playing man-to-man, you're going to get beat someplace. But that guy in the middle, high at the top of the defense.
Why did they take the result of the play?
Correction. Illinois has declined the penalty and taken the results of the play. First down.
Okay. Didn't make any sense. And if anyone's going to notice that, it's Brett Bielema. I actually had a long conversation with Brett yesterday.
Love that conversation.
Super impressed with the way over the years he manages a game. He's a strategist, I think, to the nth degree.
No question. I love the question you asked him. Hopefully we'll get a chance to unpack that a little bit.
Here's McCray. Bursts through that hole out to the 46-yard line.
And Tillman came all the way from that free safety position. If he's not there, man, and I think he may have stung his arm. We're going to keep our eye on him at 31. He came from big-time distance to make that play and run field. The run fits are where they're supposed to be, but when you got that head of steam up, and Brett Bielema understands that, and he's looking at everything, to your point, partner. Even he may be that offensive-minded guy, power football, but he sees everything that's taking place.
Play's not going the way it's supposed to, and he sets to throw it out of bounds. Yeah, Brett Bielema, he's got a reputation. He's a lineman as a college player, playing at Iowa. Big guy who wasn't around the ball a lot. But I'm telling you, he thinks strategy like very few others do. And he was very proud of the fact that I noticed that he spent some time with Bill Belichick, and he's the type of guy you could play a board game. It should be a 50-50 board game, but he'd probably win 80% of the time because he thinks strategy really well.
He's process-oriented. He loves to look at the structure and the function, whether it's organization, systems, and he knows it through and through. That's how he's going to win, all the details. He's a minimalist also.
Altmaier, the slant is caught. It'll be another first down. Tillman with a good form tackle, but Beatty has enough for the first down.
Beatty came over that middle with intention, but also Tillman, I got to tell him, man, that guy right there is a big-time hitter. To come from that free safety position and roam like he does, you're going to see the inside receiver come and release and take advantage of that little hitch route, right? And he sees it and treats it like zone, and that's exactly what it looks like. But it's a man-type under route. He read it properly and diagnosed it and got a big production out of it.
3:40 remaining here in our first half. Illinois leads by 7. Arkin, the tight end, in motion. And Arkin's got the football. Another first down for Illinois.
Well, Big Mo was in his face, but that didn't stop him from that. We watch 92 coming here underneath, unabated, and just gets to the quarterback, but not before the ball reaches its intended target. Big-time yardage.
We're going to go under 3 minutes to play here in our second quarter. Ball's on the 28-yard line. Out of the backfield, this is Valentine. Bobbles it, and that forces him to go out of bounds. If he hadn't bobbled that ball, that was going to be 6 for the Illini. As it is, it's a 15-yard gain.
Now, Stevens, number 11, had pressure in his eyes, and he bobbles the ball a little bit, but to get that ball off cleanly the way he did, Altmaier did a wonderful job of dealing with that pressure off the edge, to get the ball to his intended receiver.
So Illinois last year had Reggie Love on their team. He transfers to Purdue, and they replace Love with Valentine.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, why not?
That, man. That's a sweet move.
That's what you do it, yes. And somewhere in there we should talk about Hudson Card, right?
Mm-hmm. That would be a wild one, though.
Barreling down inside the 10 to the 8 goes McCray. He's the power back with Fagan not available. McCray listed at 235 pounds. And we made it to the 2 minutes timeout.
Timeout on the field.
So the 2-minute timeout here in Illinois Memorial Stadium. The Illini leading Purdue 10-3. Tomorrow on Fox, it is game 1 of the NLCS as Francisco Lindor and the Mets look to continue their incredible run. They're going to take on Shohei Ohtani and the Los Angeles Dodgers. It all begins at 8 Eastern on Fox. No one cares about my opinion, but Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player that has ever played the game.
I know you like him, but I love the Amazons, man. Amazons are pretty darn good right now. They are something else.
We're at Memorial Stadium, Champaign, Illinois. Brett Bielema has his Illini up 10-3 and knocking on the door, looking for more against the Boilermakers.
Well, I love Brett. You know, the time we had talking to him yesterday, he's so energized. His energy level is off the charts. I think he kind of sensed a little bit of the heat coming into this season, right? Motivating him a little bit to play at a high level. That and, of course, those young little kids he's got. That'll motivate you, right?
Look at this. You got to love playing in this offense.
Oh, absolutely.
If you know that Altmaier's going to give you the ball. All these different touches, and nowhere on there is Caden Fagan, their leading ball carrier, who is out with an injury.
Nice.
Altmaier should be a touchdown. And it is. Zachary Franklin, give him 6. That is not what Purdue expected. That is an easy touchdown for Altmaier and Franklin.
Well, watch the split flow once again. Franklin's going to come across. The back goes the opposite direction, and it's enough to freeze that inside linebacker for a beat. He gets picked by the inside coverage, and he's there, Franklin, wide open. I just love the execution here of what Barry Lunny has done as an offensive coordinator. Checking the call yesterday, eye candy of the defense.
Extra point is up and good. That could have been a Barry Lunny situation where he knows what a good player Franklin is. Had 24 catches in 5 games, but no touchdowns. They wanted to get him a score, and they do.
He's the real deal.
Coming up, it's the State Farm halftime show from our plaza. After falling at Vanderbilt, Alabama was on upset alert again. 10th-ranked Clemson continues to roll in. Iowa's offense overshadows his defense. Eric and Spencer, when's the last time you guys heard that? We'll see you at the half.
Thanks, Mike. I'm telling you, whenever I see him, I'm thinking Carly Simon, and nobody does it better.
That's right.
He just crushes
on the plaza.
Yeah, man. Big Mike Hill guy. Zachary Franklin, he has been around the block. He put up great numbers at UTSA, was at Ole Miss for just a heartbeat. But here in Illinois, had not scored a touchdown until just a moment ago when Barry Lunny called up a play and said, get him the ball, and it worked for 6.
Believe me, in this era right now of transfer portals, they're mindful of if a guy hadn't been fed enough, because there are options anymore. That didn't exist.
Whoa, that's a live football, and Illinois got it. Oh, my goodness. Illinois got the football at the 25-yard line. Luke Zartzen comes up with the ball.
Well, we've got another Luke in here. We got a cool hand Luke on special teams, too. A linebacker type. That Mac Daddy spin on that ball nails that thing, and it just drops, man. It goes backwards, opposite direction. I'm telling you, man, that's just being mindful where the ball is. You couldn't have got a more favorable bounce.
1-5-5.
You could go a decade of watching college football and never see that happen. That was a regular kickoff that got caught up by the wind, and it bounces. It takes a retro bounce, and it's Illinois ball.
Well, you can see the flags are taut, man. They're going that direction, and it went exactly where the ball did, where those flags are going, backwards.
So a bonus possession right now for Illinois. Can they cash in? Altmaier. He He's got Valentine.
That'll be a flag.
Incomplete. The linebacker held on the coverage.
I don't know if the coverage got their head in time around enough, but obviously they didn't call it, so it's a moot point. But staying with that same split flow, I love the fact that Barry Lunny knows what works and he's staying with what works. Similar action, only through the throw game this time. See if he can get positive results.
There's a chance that throw was short because of the wind. This wind is going directly from the south end zone to the north end zone, and we're heading towards that south end zone, so playing into the wind.
Well, this is interesting. The high post right here wins immediately. One of the receivers can win.
Altmaier is sacked. That'll be a huge loss. All the way out to the 35-yard line. Will Helt got there first.
Yeah, Helt came from that right defensive end position, and all 6'6" of him, 265 pounds.
Timeout, Purdue, their first. This is a 30-second timeout.
And Helt was living in the backfield. I just love the way he came with intention and got those long arms up in the air, too.
So we've got a timeout called by Purdue. They still have 2 remaining. It is a primetime showdown on Fox College Football Friday. Heisman contender Dylan Gabriel is going to lead the 3rd-ranked Oregon Ducks against Purdue. That's going to be on Friday night, 8 Eastern on Fox. So it's going to be a short week for Purdue as they get ready for Oregon.
Drilling Dylan, and he's looking better each week. And, great maturity there, and there's a win here, and it's taut.
And the wind's been a factor. Every single kickoff we've had in our ball game has gone from south to north with the wind at the back, and they've gone through the end zone. The first one that went into the wind resulted in a turnover because it wasn't gauged well by Purdue. Altmaier on 3rd and a bunch. Caught! Franklin's got it! First down, Illinois! How do you give up a 3rd and 20?
Well, Franklin did a heads-up job. The boundary corner, Nyland Green, number 2, is the one who pushed off of and got open. You can see there the turn, and he just separates him with that little left arm there, right? That's nice.
That's pretty, though.
Isn't that pretty?
That is a veteran. They needed 20. They got 27.
How about that?
And the clock moves. Illinois got all 3 timeouts if they want to use them.
Yeah, no rush here. Take your time.
2 tight ends, Coda and Arkin, switch ends at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Purdue doesn't change their surface, though. They're probably at a disadvantage.
McCray lunges forward to the 6. Clock continues to move.
And what that formation was designed to do by moving the strength from one side to the next is to see what, if any, impact it has to the surface. The surface is the defenders that are on the line of scrimmage. If they don't move, you got a numbers advantage someplace. The quarterback has to have the onus on him to sense where that is and the liberty to take the play the opposite. A little check with me, maybe.
25 seconds remaining in our first half. Play action. Altmaier dumping it down. It'll be a touchdown. Josh McCray. Pennies from heaven for the Fighting Illini. They scored 2 touchdowns in the last 90 seconds of game time.
Well, that one was too easy. Kydron Jenkins, the middle linebacker, number 4. You can see him on the boundary. After the motion completes, the reverse out hurt him. His eye discipline was off. He got misdirected by some of that play action that got him confused. And all you need when you get in the green area, just a little bit of hesitation.
Olano's extra point is good. It is a 5-play, 25-yard drive for Illinois. They are dead set on getting this Cannon Trophy back in their possession.
This has been really a fun game to watch, but who could have imagined that the wind would have such a profound impact in that last series there? But I'm telling you, man, it looked like it was assisted when that ball hit on the oblong nose of the ball, and it came back 10, 15 yards like somebody threw it back. It was amazing.
That's coming from someone who played out in Oklahoma back in the Big 8 with the wind howling.
As well, what we have in common here is what we had in common in Oklahoma. It was plain, it was flat, nothing to obstruct the wind, man. And you had to make sure you took care of that ball because it would be sweeping down the plains. Rogers and Hammerstein, Oklahoma.
Okay, very nice reference. Okay, so there's no reason to do anything except for what we just saw if you're Illinois here. Ethan Machowski is the big-legged kicker, but just do the exact same thing and see if Purdue can handle the football.
Yep.
Okay, kicks it off as normal, and this time it makes it into the end zone. And Purdue will have 19 seconds to work with.
I'm not sure they're going to go try to push this thing down the field. They're going to try to get it at halftime and regroup and figure out what works and come back to it. The game is not totally out of hand yet, so I think they can come back to the run game featuring their quarterback, Brown. We understand the context, and then hopefully they'll command numbers from the defense, and then they can start hitting those wide receivers on the edges. But right now, I think that's their best bet at success.
And you saw those numbers with Hudson Card out and Ryan Brown, the quarterback. This is a Purdue offense that has been ground-based, and they'll stay on the ground. Brown has to take a hit, stays in bounds, and that probably will be the final play of our half. And it will be. How about this? Purdue, the cradle of quarterbacks. 9 passing yards in our first half. The fewest in almost 25 years. A quarter of a century. 9 passing yards, the least since 2000. Wow.
Well, you're used to hitting the high water marks for measuring success, and when you hit those low, the same thing applies, partner. That's unfortunate for Purdue.
All right, so the first 30 minutes, it's all Illinois. They lead Purdue 24-3.
I've had a large mouth pass, bust my a couple beautiful girls tell me goodbye.
24-3, the homestanding Illinois fighting Illini. They lead Purdue. Getting ready for our third quarter. Illinois, this is a big game for them. They're the 23rd ranked team in the country, hoping to move up. Big part of their season. So far, so good, though. No doubt about that. With my partner, Spencer Tillman, I am Eric Collins. We told you beginning of the game, Caden Fagan was not going to play for Illinois. That's okay. They haven't relied on the run as much. They've relied on their quarterback, Altmaier.
Yeah, Altmaier has thrived despite that. And again, Josh McCray has done enough in the run game to help loosen him up a little bit. And Franklin and Pat Bryant on the opposite side have gotten open. And that offensive line, let's give them some credit. At times they've been inconsistent, but today providing enough protection to get Altmaier pushing the ball down the field and getting it to his disparate receivers with the cross flow, split flow. That helped them a great deal. Great play selection there. To me, when you put all that together, you can have success even when you don't have your big gun at running back.
Our QB comparison is sponsored by Target. Target Circle Week is here with 7 days of big deals. Of course, Ryan Brown making his first collegiate start. He has been more effective on the ground, Spencer, than passing.
And they just need to do more of that in the second half, partner. Again, you've got about 157 yards of rushing that they've got there, and he's leading the way with about the lion's share of about 87 yards or so. If they continue to do that, they'll have a chance. This game is not totally out of hand yet. Go back to what works, and that's running the football with your quarterback. Yes, it puts him at risk, but the soft middle of that Illini defense has been opportunity. They've got to keep going to the well.
And Illinois, we talk about their defense. Aaron Henry, that defensive coordinator, so dynamic as a young DC. They have been as advertised so far today through 30 minutes.
They really have. I've been impressed with what they've done. They've been aggressive. They have attacked, right? They've done all the things that you need to do to signal to the league that we can play on both sides of the ball.
All right, let's do it. Getting ready for our third quarter. Remember, Illinois won the original point toss to begin our game. They elected to defer to the decision to the second half, start with their defense on the field. So they're going to start with their offense on the field as we begin the second half. Wind has been a factor. We'll keep you up to date as to which way the wind is blowing throughout the course of our final 2 quarters.
And the Illini has been a factor of that wind. And with that little Mac Daddy 9, it bounced right back in their lap, and they converted that into points. And that's just been another example of how the winds are on the side of the ablest of navigators today.
Realistically, it should be 17-3 as our score, but just a bonus extra touchdown allowed to Illinois because of that kickoff into the wind. that took the retro bounce right into the hands of the Illini. Okay, touchback. Ball will be moved out to the 25-yard line. Illinois will start this offense going into the wind. Our team comparison is sponsored by IHG Hotels and Resorts. 19 hotel brands, 6,000 destinations. And the big story has been Illinois rushing the football, 145 yards. I'm sorry, Purdue rushing the football, 145 yards. Illinois passing the ball, 215
and those numbers aren't lying, partner. That's where the opportunity is. If you're on the opposite side for Purdue, you got to rush the ball. And alternately, might help to find some rushing yards for the Illini.
Aiden Lawfree is the back in the backfield. They give it to Lawfree. And he struggles forward for a gain of 3, maybe 4. In the first half, Lawfree, 4 carries, 3 yards. The leading ground gear was Josh McCray, 6 carries, 35 yards.
I'll tell you, Kevin Kane's defense up front has been really stout today, keeping the yardage to a minimal for the Illini. They've been struggling in that department, but still have success in the throw game.
The Illini trying not to stub a toe. They've got an important game here next week against Michigan. They slip it out. This is Colin Dixon, and Dixon makes a man miss across the 50 to the 45. Alessandro makes the tackle, but a huge gain of 28 yards.
Well, Kendrick Breedlow is in that nickel position to watch number 10 come down, and he misses here, right? You should come with leverage. Upfield shoulder. You can't go inside out. If a guy's got any modicum of speed, he's going to beat you to that point. That's one of the things I've seen on tape, the angles, the attack angles. You must play with integrity, and if anything, see the inside the receiver, and hopefully you'll have the cavalry to come help you make a play.
Big plays for Dixon. 2 catches, 69 yards. Lawfree. That'll be his best gain of the day to the 35. Antonio Stevens jumps on his back.
And that's, again, as you said, it doesn't take a lot in this scheme to have success in the run game. If you take out the Northern Illinois game, I think it was a little over 100 that Fagan had in that one. But his mean is around 67, something like that. It's not big yardage. You don't need a whole lot to open up things for this offense. And that's in keeping with what their head coach, Brett Bielema, is all about. He's about balance in the old school manner of what balance represents.
3 tight ends in the game right now for Illinois, all right side. And nice. McCray goes left side. Swarmed and brought down.
I'll tell you, Brandon.
Joe Anderson in the middle of that.
He had his hands full, and again up front. And I think it was that Brandon Henderson was just beat to the point. Got a great defender, a couple of them cutting across your face. He couldn't shut that front off. I'm telling you, this front for Purdue is pretty decent.
So it's 3rd down and 5. Illinois has not had much recent success at all against Purdue. The Boilermakers have won 4 consecutive, including a blowout win in West Lafayette a year ago. Little pitch to the edge, and McCray is brought down, but has enough for the first down. That's a dangerous tackle by Yanni Karloftis.
Karloftis again got one stuffed in his face, man, and that's tough. He's the wheel linebacker, and he's coming number 14. And watch McCray stick that hand right there. You know, that's like a pole move. Defensive ends use that a lot of time. They'll just stick that arm, and partner, when you're rushing the quarterback a lot of times, if you just turn and extend your arms, that makes your arm shorter than mine, and that pole move will get you around to the quarterback. In this case, the defender that's running the ball. Sometimes that stiff arm, it's underrated. It's a great weapon.
Altmaier throws deep into the sun, and not able to make the play is Franklin. That could have been sun.
No
restricted.
Question. That little quarter of the field is the place where the only place where the sun is. So you're going from the throw that's initiated from around the, say, 35, 45-yard line or so, then back that way. It goes from dark into light, and that's a tough adjustment to make.
So it's 2nd down and 10. Illinois in a stretch of 7 games in which 5 of the 7 opponents are ranked. Lawfree. Tackle made by Harkless.
I'll tell you what, Jamarian Harkless, number 97, man. He's 6'3", but here's the deal. 346-pound redshirt freshman, and able to stuff the middle of that field. The more I look at Purdue's front and what they're doing and what Kevin Kane has available to him, the more I'm liking it. And I love the idea of him keeping them fresh and platooning these guys the way that he is. They're big body guys. So you can't wear them out. They'll be panting like lizards on a hot rock if you leave them in there too long. But that's a good group right there now.
Harkless's nickname is Chops. I guess he loved pork chops as a kid. Altmaier again.
That's great
in the
defense.
Direction of Franklin. No flag.
Yeah, Breedlove did a nice job of leveraging and keeping him out, and Franklin tried to adjust on that fade and get that ball back, but he stole that real estate and made it his own. Breedlove, outstanding nickel coverage here. Watch him. Everybody's playing match coverage here. They put the safety back there. He turns, IDs the ball, and understands looking for it is going to help him avoid getting the penalty. That is textbook defense right there.
So on 4th down and 9, the field goal unit will come on. David Olano.
Oh, that's a long one.
It's a 49-yarder. Oh, plenty of leg.
Oh, good Lord. That could have been a 59.
That was into the wind, folks. That ball was thumped.
Holy
Yeah,
cow.
get excited about that. 27-3. The lead swells to 24 for the Illini. Well, tomorrow on Fox, it is game 1 of the NLCS. Francisco Lindor and the Mets look to continue their incredible run. They're going to take on Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and the rest of the Los Angeles Dodgers. All begins at 8 Eastern on Fox. Only 4 teams remain standing. Beginning of the 3rd quarter, Brett Bielema and his bunch had the football for 9 plays, 44 yards, and a 49-yard field goal for David Olano that probably would have been good from 65. He just crushed it. Elijah Jackson on the return, and he can't even make it out to the 15. That's a good special teams play.
Yep. Open field tackle. You got a down line there. He's going to get up quick, and that's good. Love to see that.
Kanena Onaluga made that tackle. Backup linebacker from Chicago.
Well, these guys play hard, and it doesn't matter if you're on special teams or stop units as a starter. Aaron Henry, for one, the defensive coordinator, is going to make sure that you're flying to the ball and making plays.
You don't see that with a Purdue quarterback very often. 9 passing yards in the first half.
That's amazing.
And I wouldn't say that Ryan Brown played poorly.
No.
He was asked to run the football. There are a lot of design quarterback runs. He did that effectively. Wasn't asked to pass a lot. He only threw 7 times, completed 4 for the 9 yards. Do you have to pass now, Spencer, or can you still run the football?
I think you can still run it.
There's a pass. This is Claire, the tight end, out to the 25-yard line.
And see what Claire just did there as a tight end. This is an extension of the run game. These yards are coming parallel to the line of scrimmage. They're high percentage, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they split people out and just get the ball to the edges and not throw it downfield. That's the one thing you don't want to do. When you're working with a quarterback with little experience against a team that likes to swarm, you don't want to leave him subject to that pressure. So make your run game an extension of what you're doing.
In the backfield with Brown is Maccabee. He's a half 100. He's got 57
Nice.
yards.
This is what I like to see.
Brown's got it, and he spun down at the 35. There's a flag that came from the offensive backfield.
And alternately, you can't hold, right? We've had 3 of these today when you've had positive success with your quarterback running.
Offense, number 86, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
So Claire had a 12-yard reception the play before and gives up 10 yards on the hold on the following play.
Yeah, it's just a shame. Again, you have great success with your tight end. He gets an opportunity to stack a successful play behind another successful play, and he gets called for holding right here. This quarterback doesn't need that. Again, the soft spot of the field defensively for the Illini is right up the middle. That 0 gap.
So it's 1st and 17. Line to gain is going to be the 37.
Kevin Kane is going to try to discourage that, what we call a scissors twist. Those linebackers are going to get in those A gaps and flow and try to stop that run.
Maccabee. It takes a bunch to bring him down. That's like kind kind of Mike Allstott right there. I don't want to totally go there, but he pushed the pile like Allstott used to.
It would take a Mike Allstott-like effort to get success against those run fits because they were where they were supposed to be. And really, it's about who wins, who's stronger, who's faster, who wants it more.
Gain of 5, second down at 12. Only 2 passes have been completed to receivers today. One to Edrin and one to Tibbs. And this time Maccabee can't move the pile more than about a yard, maybe 2. And it's going to bring up third down and long.
Was your guy Dietrich that was waiting for him on the backside. He tried to spill out the back door, and there was nothing there. That's just great sound defense on the back end, shutting all those cutoff lanes. Once again, Kevin Kane's defense stepping up. Assignment sound.
Purdue, 2 for 6 in converting third downs.
Single high safety showing man coverage. They're going to check with me at the line of scrimmage and try to figure out what's going to work. Somebody's got to win against man coverage. Let's see if Brown has time.
Blitz.
Nice.
What a catch. Jerron Tibbs. That ball was behind him. He was able to contort his body and come down with it.
Absolutely love that. There's a great throw, no question about that. But then the defense on the back end of it, you're trying to protect and cover, but it's just thrown too perfectly. Watch this back shoulder throw. It's about as good as you're going to see. I'm talking right, that's a dart, man. High in the air, exactly where it needs to be. Patterson couldn't stop it.
They call him Mr. Tibbs.
Nice.
Brown wants a bunch, man, wide open. This should be. It is a touchdown, Purdue. Jamel Edrin, 53 yards.
Well, again, the previous play, remember we talked about when they're in man coverage, one man has got to win, even if it's off coverage. Watch the double move at the top of the route. The shake move, the out, and then the up. Jerry Rice special. Vertical route. I'm telling you, it'll make you change your mind, but you've got to be disciplined and defend. I mean, just a wonderful job of understanding what your defender is doing, where the leverage points are, and making a miss in open field.
Purdue hadn't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks.
The play's under further review.
I do kind of think that Edrin was down.
You think Edrin was down?
The ball was like at the half-foot mark.
Well, I'm going to give him an A for effort, number one, because of how Barry Lundy set that, or rather Jason Simmons set that play up, waiting for it to get to that point where they can throw it.
Torrey Cox grabbed him by the ankles.
Yeah, maybe the left knee was there, and Torrey Cox Jr. just, but for that last grab, yeah, I think the
knee's down.
Yeah, the knee's down. The left knee is down, and the elbow is too.
And normally you'd say, okay, first and 10 or first and goal, ball at the half-yard line. But the way Purdue has been playing, that's not a guaranteed touchdown.
That's right. And again, the one thing you will say, though, if there has been some soft spots, now we don't know if that's going to hold up in the green zone inside that 5-yard line, but in the open field, Browns had success running the ball up the middle. So we'll see. McCray has also on the opposite side. So both teams have been giving up some yardage.
All right, here's Ron Snodgrass.
Touchdown.
Whoa! All right.
Wow.
Okay.
Little road
The
love.
Boilermakers are not going to give it back. They'll take that touchdown, the first touchdown since the game against Nebraska, September 28th.
Wow.
And Ryan Brown is pleased.
And as well you should be, because you're not going to get those many opportunities because of where you are as a organization right now, because you're depleted, right?
Porath. Right as rain. So both sides have had possession here in the third quarter. Illinois, they get 3. Purdue, they get 7. Oh boy, did Purdue need that. First collegiate touchdown thrown by Ryan Brown. It is a 53-yarder. He finds Jamel Edrin. And it is the first touchdown in 2 weeks' time for Purdue.
I mean, with the body of work being as minimal as it was, if I told you it'd be a 53-yard goal ball that Brown would find success first as a touchdown as a collegiate, I wouldn't take that bet. But I'll tell you, that's what happens when you have success running the football. You don't need a whole lot. But look, 157 yards combined rushing in the first half is what they had. That's enough for this team to have success. But you've got to get the matchups. And the only way you do that is to have something that's working that the defense has to attend to. And that's the middle of the football field. Again,
Ben Freehill, spinning kickoff with the wind at his back. This one goes, oh, come on, you got to make that play. Oh.
And he put his camera down to make that. You got to catch that.
Public shaming.
Oh.
Come on.
Damn it.
Oh. There won't be another time. That was it. Your moment in the sun.
Yeah, you put your camera down, too. Good Lord.
Okay.
That's all right. There'll be another day.
Ball's moved to the 25-yard line. Luke Altmaier. It's been pretty good today.
Yep.
Hasn't turned the ball over. 2 touchdown passes, 1 to McCray and 1 to Franklin.
Kudos to that offensive line. How about a bunch formation up top on the numbers here? Let's see.
Now they move Beatty out of it. Fake it to Valentine. Altmaier spins. Lost it. Loose. Purdue's got it. It's going to be a touchdown. Will Helt. What a turn of events here in Champaign. The Boilermakers are back in this game.
The pressure was coming everywhere, but I think Nyland Green, the backside cornerback, is a guy on a little corner cat sneak blitz that winds up beating everybody, including the sole running back that's in the backfield, designed with one responsibility to block him. What a wonderful job of seizing the moment. I'll tell you, the Boilermakers are hot, man.
So, a gift touchdown for Purdue. And they're an extra point away from making this a 13-point game with a ton of time remaining.
I'll tell you what, the ebb and flow, those quick scores can change the confidence levels of the young guys. I don't care how much they've been struggling coming into this. Confidence comes from demonstrated performance, and how have they done that these last couple of drives?
Porath, he should have this extra point thing down, did it just a moment ago. And it is a 27-17 game.
Wow. Well, here you go again. He spins out. It does Altmaier first, but the pressure from the backside. Nyland Green, as I said, the back corner. You know, if you're looking at that pressure from the side, you know it's coming because he's lined up inside of the slot receiver. And he's got a guy standing right over the top of him. A quarterback has got to know where that pressure is coming from, and then that internal clock in his head has got to be mindful. I got to get this thing out. Wow, what a turn of events.
Will Helt was actually fighting with Yanni Karlaftis for that loose ball. And it's a good thing that Helt got it because he was on his feet. Karlaftis was falling to the ground.
It's good to see these guys' success. You know, look, all of them are going to practice anyway, right? And when you can have success like that and connect the dots between your effort and success, that gets those dopaminergic reactions flying, man. And your team can do pretty much anything it wants to.
Dopaminergic.
Yeah.
All right. This one is not returnable. And it spills through the back of the end zone. So, Illinois ball. They have just been blitzed on a 14-0 run by this Boilermaker team.
Well, how about the blitz? You just mentioned it. Kevin Kane dialing up pressure, feeling like you're in a part of the field where they hadn't been, maybe not as comfortable, maybe a little bit more full of hubris than they should be down here, not mindful of it, couldn't protect, got home to the quarterback and got a turnover.
No Caden Fagan, not in uniform. Undisclosed injury. So we've seen a lot of Josh McCray. He's behind Altmaier. McCray. 15 yards on first down. That's some hard running. Dylan Thieneman the tackle.
You know where Thieneman is. He's way back there, number 31 at the top key position. And you know where he's got to deal with. If he doesn't see and he's making the tackle, you know there's been some plus yardage already made for him to get to that point. That's just a great physical effort. Brett Bielema was loving that kind of run now.
Fighting Illini, I don't want to let their foot off the gas. They've got an important one in 7 days' time here in this building against Michigan.
No question.
McCray again. This time to the 45. Antonio Stevens makes the tackle.
Jamarian Harkless, number 97, again, one of those guys in the middle is reaching out. There's never been a time when I've seen this Purdue front let people just go through cleanly and unchallenged at that line of scrimmage. They have been so consistent.
Yeah, I'll give it up for the coaching staff with Purdue. Ryan Walters said his team was going to come out and play today. They did not play well for a large chunk of the game against Wisconsin. That was last week. This is totally new. They're still buying in. Second down at 5 to the edge.
Nice.
Bryant has the first down, crosses the 50. It's the second time we've seen Bryant carry the football. Gain of 7.
Should have Salah, number 17, the right outside linebacker, had a chance to make a play there, and they're all playing up front. Those defensive ends, those rush outside linebackers are doing a good job of containing, and when they can't make the play, folding it back in to allow those inside flowing defenders to make plays for them.
McCray's replaced by Lawfery. Lawfery. Tillman brings him down, but not before another first down is gained for Illinois.
And then again, you see 31 making the play. If anytime you see 31 coming from that high safety hole, you've got 7 yards. You can see him there at the top of your screen, Dylan Tillman, the free safety, number 31, comes down. That's 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, almost 8 yards there before he gets contact.
Tillman, 6 feet, 210 pounds. They say he runs a 4.40.
He's legit now.
If you know what a Turkish getup is, he does them with 135-pound weights.
Holy cow.
That's a really intricate exercise.
Oh, here's another corner blitz there.
Incomplete.
Nice.
Thieneman able to make the tackle and knock the football away from Arkin.
Oh, I love this defensive scheme right here. Changing things up. You can only do so much with a single high safety, but with Thieneman, watch him switch responsibilities with the cornerback. He's going to come from depth, and the cornerback is actually going to come into the corner blitz. He's the one blitzing. Thieneman replaces him. That's one of the rare times you see it, but to your point about his speed, partner, you don't try to make a safety sit in the middle of the field cover a cornerback unless you got speed.
Yep.
It's a lot of water to cover.
Rod Woodson speed. Maybe I shouldn't go there.
That's scary now.
Woodson was...
He's otherworldly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Flags down. False start. Offense, number 58. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Melvin Priestley.
It's rare. We hadn't seen too much of that. We've seen I think it was J.C. Davis earlier in the game. The left tackle got called for a procedure. They had a total of 3. That's the first of this second half.
Second and 15. 4-man rush. Altmaier splits it, and he's tackled by the ankles. That was Helt.
That looked like Helt, and again, if it wouldn't been Helt, that would have been the rare time you see the Boilermakers get gutted right up the middle of their defense. But Helt did a wonderful job of holding that thing down intact with a shoestring tackle.
Okay, this is a big play for both sides.
It's huge.
Illinois wants to stay on the field. They're probably outside of field goal range going into the wind. This is a third down and 11.
They got a new safety in the game, and so got a nickel back in.
Altmaier slings it. Caught but short of the line to gain. That's Franklin. He makes the catch at the 30. It's going to be 4th down and short.
And Nyland Green, the boundary corner. You know, we talk about boundary and field and all that stuff. That's the short side of the field. And unlike when you have a field corner, he's going to have less skills. But in this particular case, these guys that play match coverage, man for man, are as equally talented on either side. So there's no drop off. When Kevin Kane's defense comes out here and covers in man to man, you've got to be able to cover.
4th down and 2. They bring in Valentine. He's in the backfield next to Altmaier. Fake it to Beatty.
Nice staying home.
Altmaier running out of time. And that is incomplete. Incomplete. It's going to be Purdue ball. That play was blown up from the jump, and Illinois has to give the ball over on downs. Momentum has definitely swung to the side of the Purdue Boilermakers. Now the Worms seems to have turned here in our ball game. Purdue, Spencer, they've got momentum.
Well, they got it through the air. It was just a wonderful job of executing and setting that thing up just like they needed it. Jason Tillman called it when he needed to. They got the pressure from Alton Company, and Jamarius Dinkins on the back end, number 55, after the scoop and score, is going to force Altman, right, with those high pockets, stepping on the sideline to throw an errant ball down in the ground. It was just a wonderful job of turning and leveraging the ebb and flow of this game.
Reggie Love getting a carry. First carry of the second half for Reggie Love. Love in our ball game, 2 carries, 15 yards before that one.
You know, tough plays are going to happen. It's really about how you leverage it. And that's a metaphor for the entire Purdue Boilermaker team, man. Nice
reverse
trick.
Flea flicker. They're going to throw it. A man's wide open. This has got to go. And it does.
Wow.
Down to the 15, the 10. Max Clare finally brought down at the 7. Oh, my goodness. Jason Simmons. What kind of play call is that?
Well, it's a great play. It's a gutsy play, and it's one that you just hit him on, and it didn't take all this time. Imagine how much time it's going to take for this thing to happen. Watch the many times from you can see the inside receiver's releases wide, and he's going to get width all the way out to the numbers, but watch the ball switches and goes hands 3 different times, and it's up in the air on the wheel route on the backside to a streaking receiver on the back end. It's just an unbelievable turn of events here that we're experiencing. I'll tell you, they got the line back on their heels, man.
10-point game. Purdue knocking on the door. And a flag. Before the play can get underway, procedural penalty against Purdue.
Well, that's kind of...
Off start. Offense, number 53, 1-yard penalty, first down.
It's kind of par for the course, isn't it, partner? It's what they do. But I'll tell you, if they can ever get traction, and I think that combined with the familiarity of Ryan Walters and this staff with what the Illini does is going to help them dramatically. That guy right there is a super sharp guy. You know, it's really interesting that Aaron Henry said when he first met him, he wasn't quite sure if he was a cool guy or arrogant or what. But that's his disposition, and I really love it because you got to earn his respect, and they have.
Brown to the end zone. Pass was behind Edrin. I thought Clare would have been the better option there. He goes to Edrin.
The tight end might have been an option too. Brown was running out of real estate, but once again, as you're a receiver, you're coming down. You're told to move in the same direction as the quarterback. But when you run out of real estate, you turn that into a vertical route. That's exactly what the tight end is supposed to do. That's just great coverage on the back end right there.
I'm sure there's some Purdue fans to defend thinking that maybe that could have been
maybe a little contact
by Patterson.
A little contact.
Okay, second down and goal. Designed quarterback run, and Brown gets to the 6. So he splits the difference from the 12-yard line to the 6, and now it's third down. Now you got to get points here.
Watch these guards right here pull. This is what we call an if block. Even if you covered, them pulling up and getting inside to the other side of the line of scrimmage, guarding the tackle. Just a wonderful job of providing the escort. Yardage hard to come by down here, so that significant gain that's going to actually help them.
Third down and goal. One-on-one coverage, torn to the end zone. Edrin, incomplete. Caleb Patterson had the coverage on Edrin. And the field goal unit will come on for Purdue.
And that's unfortunate because what you saw in that play was some of the vestiges of the air raid concept with mesh routes coming underneath. One of them was actually open, and as a result, they weren't able to see it clear, and they threw it over the top instead.
24-yard field goal attempt. Spencer Porath. He's had a perfect day so far. Not mandatory, but very important for Porath. Okay, had to get something on that drive. They do get the 3, and it is a 7-point game. Who would have thunk? Purdue's on a roll. only by 7. A lot has changed in this ball game here in the third quarter. We still have 49 seconds remaining here in the third. Last 2 games before today, Purdue a grand total of 16 points. That was in a loss against Nebraska and lost last week against Wisconsin. In this quarter alone, Spencer Tillman, just to show you what momentum will do for you, they've got 17 points.
Well, you got to read the fine print. What was those disclaimers back in the days of mutual funds were really big? Past performance, not necessarily an indicator of future success. I mean, that's what this organization and what the Boilermakers could say about this game, quarter over quarter, and the year for that matter.
How do we touch back in the end zone? Ball be at the 25 for the Illini. Let's go to Mike Hill in L.A. for an All-State game break.
Tell me if you've ever seen this. Number 4 Penn State at USC. Tyler Warren snaps the ball to Bo Pribula. Pribula passes backwards to quarterback Drew Aller, lined up at receiver. Aller then passes to Warren, the snapper, who makes a great catch for the touchdown. Sparked Penn State's offense because they scored 14 straight to tie the game at 20 in the third, fellas.
How about Penn State? A little funky.
Maybe a little hubris creeping in from their part. We got some of that double reverse action going on here, man.
All right, Illinois. They're in a bit of a funk right now. They've only got 3 points here in our third quarter.
Nice stay at home.
Altmaier. Oh, he makes a miss. Altmaier was able to shake Antonio Stevens at the line of scrimmage and get out to the 47-yard line.
Altmaier showing some foot speed right there. Stevens, I thought he had him dead to rights, but you can see number 11 on the edge. Watch him scrape, and he's there and looking like he's in good football position, but the fact that he had to cross over lets you know that that angle is being taken away from him by Altmaier, who had a nice head of steam going. That's
27-yard run for Altmaier.
Oh, man, that's sweet.
And that'll be the final play of our third quarter. Great job, though, by Purdue in this third quarter. They outscore Illinois by a score of 17-3 in our third quarter to make this a game as we head to winning time. 4 fingers in the air. We've got 15 more minutes of football. It is a 7-point game in the battle for the Cannon Trophy.
Get down on it. Come on and baby, baby. Get on it.
Memorial Stadium here in Champaign, Illinois, the house that Red Grange built. Beginning of the fourth quarter, they've got a race, 77 yards. That was Red Grange's number. Maybe the best nicknames in all of football. The Galloping Ghost and the Wheaton Iceman, Red Grange.
He had to have a great name like that because he was America's first mega football star. I mean, Red Grange was the man.
Start of the fourth quarter, 7-point game. Illinois does have the ball. Illinois was outscored 17-3 in that third quarter. We've got a game. McCray tackled from behind. Tackle made by Hudson Miller, sophomore from Cathedral High School in Indianapolis.
They try to attack the Illini, the center of that. Just a little minor 3-yard gain, but that's enough to have some modicum of success because, again, I'm just impressed with this front. I can't say it enough today how effective they've been. Now, granted, they're way out there top Caden Fagan, their top rusher, and that's a problem, too, for them. But, that you line up against who shows up to play, so.
Second down at 7. Ball right at midfield at the Dick Butkus 50-yard line. Four-man rush. And Altmaier just at the toe of green. Down the right sideline. Luke Altmaier. Kadron Jenkins saved a touchdown. That is a gimme 36 yards for Altmaier.
You can see a starboard charge. Everybody is going to the right on the offensive line, but the port side is naked, wide open. There's nobody on that other side. He goes opposite. Altmaier showing you some of that speed he showed us on the previous series. Huge play, busted assignment for the Boilermakers.
With that running play of 37 yards, Altmaier now has a grand total of 40 rushing yards on the day. For the most part, he's been going backwards until that one. First down at 10 to the end zone. Bryant.
Nice defense late.
Off the fingertips.
Wow. I'll tell you what, Nyland Green has done a wonderful job. And remember I told you earlier about they will flip him. Well, he's technically is the boundary corner, but he's got the wide side of the field this time. Why? Because he's athletic enough to do that. Last second gets that right hand up and to bat it away. And all of that ocean of water out there that is that boundary side.
And again, I think there's probably some Illinois fans saying, didn't he get away with some hands on the shoulder pad? It's the Big Ten. Come on, play on.
Yep.
Second down at 10.
Trips to the field.
Altmaier's got it. Green grass in front of him. Touchdown, Illinois. Looking like Juice Williams.
Hey, it's not rocket science, partner. If you're the Illini and you're Barry Lunny, you just want to run away from the numbers. So let me come out and build a trips formation and then go up to the right side where there's only one edge rusher who is sold and bites on it and thinks it's an inside give. And Altmaier's already shown us that he can run, and he can run fast if he has to. He waltzes in for a score.
Purdue needed a stop. They can't get it. Lead back up to 13 for the Illini. Olano. You betcha. And it's a 34-20 ball game here in Champaign. How about Luke Altmaier? Getting on his horse, scampering in for a touchdown. Luke Altmaier, who doesn't run effectively a ton, sure did run effectively that time with the football. He scores his first rushing touchdown of the season. It's a 5-play, 72-yard drive. 72 of the 75 yards on the ground by Luke Altmaier. Who knew?
I think teams need to understand what he can do in the future. They will take note that he can run the ball. So you got to account for him, man. Guy's got great speed. He's shown us on the perimeter.
We've seen nothing but touchbacks heading in that direction. Well, tomorrow it's an NFL doubleheader on Fox as Kyler Murray leads the Cardinals against the Packers or other regional action. Then in America's Game of the Week, Jared Goff and the Lions going to take on Dak and the Cowboys. Check for the games in your area only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. All right, so Purdue had been the team given the punches here in the second half. They just got punched back. How will they respond? First down to 10, ball to the 25-yard line.
Well, that's the big question, right?
This is Maccabee. 5 yards on first down.
And I think what they're doing now is trying to get some flow, going with Maccabee sideways, and then, but still coming back to the vertical, the middle part of the field, which has been the soft spot. So they obviously clearly see something that's successful or a weak point for them that they've been able to leverage.
Purdue brings in Shamar Rigby. Rigby hasn't played a ton today, but he's on the field right now. One of the receivers. He's 16. He's explosive. Let's see if they feature him.
Nice crossing. Too late.
Oh my goodness, that's a dangerous pass. Crossed his body across the field, incomplete.
Well, you got to trust your protection, number one, and again, Brown wanted to have that a little bit early. He needed to have that about 7 or 8 steps earlier and release that ball because the over route was there.
Purdue is 3 for 8, Spencer, converting third downs.
Well, as a percentage, believe it or not, as bad as that is, it was worse than that coming in the aggregate to this point. So this doesn't look like a high percentage for them, but they're going to try to maximize it by getting to the line early and then referring to the 12th man on the sideline to get the right play. So this is the best that Jason Simmons has here at play calling. Nice.
Dart over the middle, it's caught. That's clear. It'll be a first down.
And that is how you execute right there. Get to the ball early, knowing it's a third down and more. So bring to bear all of the IP, the intellectual capital of coaches on the sidelines to bear to get this first down. I like it. And so much emphasis by Ryan Walters has been put on execution. And that's the first thing he did after he fired Graham Harrell. He brought everybody together and says this is going to be a team effort. You saw it on that last play.
And Jason Simmons, the offensive analyst, he's the play caller for the second consecutive week. Last week against Wisconsin did it field level. This week choosing to do it up in the booth.
And that tells you something. When all of the assistants are down, they want to see these young players' faces.
Brown. He's got room to run. Zigging across the 50-yard line. That's another first down for Purdue. And we have a Boilermaker down.
You look at Brown, and no shock that there was 157 yards rushing. He was responsible for the lion's share. But watch this move right here. Put his foot in the crowd and get back up an additional 6 yards on that play. That kid right there's got something special now.
It was the center, Gus Hartwig, who was down for a moment, but he's fine. Not so well for Illinois is Seth Coleman, who has to leave the game. So a momentary timeout. Now we're moving again. Clock ticking, 11:30 remaining. They fake it to Maccabee.
Nice.
The tight end Claire's got it. Look at that move. Does he have enough speed? He doesn't. Caught from behind at the 7-yard line. 43 yards inside the 10.
Winston Berglund wasn't the guy that made the tackle, but just the speed. You can see again, the tight end gets wide open in the middle of the field and tries to put everybody in his hip pocket. Does a wonderful job of getting there on the back end of that play. Brown says, hey, look, we can continue to stack these great plays on one another. That's good stuff.
That was Tyler Strain.
Yeah, it was
doesn't
Tyler
play
Strain.
a lot.
Yeah,
Tyler Strain really had not any playing time all season long,
he's a
but he's
redshirt
on the
junior.
field to make that tackle.
Yeah, the redshirt junior got in there, made a play. He's only about 195 pounds, but you saw his speed serve him well on that one and spared a touchdown.
Field goal's no good here. Need a touchdown. To the end zone. Man's open. It's a score for Jerron Tibbs. Purdue is alive.
And you talk about some man parts, man. Jason Simmons comes right back at the guy who made that saving tackle just a moment ago. Tyler Strand, number 20, and beats him on a corner route. You can see he comes across the formation, a little split flow, taking a page right out of Barry Lundy's playbook and says, hey, we can do that. We can only do it better. We can score on ours.
You know, there's a chance that Jason Simmons only sees that because he's up in the booth. He knows that there's a young player who hasn't played a lot at number 20, Tyler Strain, and he takes advantage. And now they're going to go for it. They're going to go for 2 when an extra point would make it a 7-point game.
Why not? And they're going to go empty and bring the back in. So you got 4 receiving options here and a back.
I don't know about all this. Well, it works. It's a touchdown and an extra point of the 2-point variety. Max Claire. So an 8-point trip down the field for Purdue, and they're within 6.
Well, Purdue has got some parts, folks, and that's clear today. We didn't know about one of those. More of an unknown was Brown, this quarterback. But now we've discovered today what Brown can do for you. He's put it on display today.
Families affected by Hurricanes Milton and Helene urgently need your support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to people when they need it most. Donate today to Hurricanes Milton and Helene by going to redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED CROSS. We were talking with players this week, and so many players in the Big Ten and across the country, really just kind of a feeder state for all big-time football programs, the state of Florida, and probably someone on every single roster in majority of these schools across the country affected by Hurricane Milton this past week.
And believe me, that has an impact on the emotional status of these kids on the roster. You got to make sure that they're in great mental states.
Okay, Luke Altmaier, known for his accuracy of the passing arm, well, known for his feet last drive.
Well, he was mobile. We saw that. But then you saw the accuracy of the arm as well on a pass that may have been underthrown, but adjusted it well enough by the receiver. Then over the middle, Franklin and company were able to pay it off. Bryant here. And then just showing you the captain taking charge. And then on the field with Franklin working on the boundary on a little off pass. Put it in a position where you got a conflict as a defender. Who you're going to cover. Just great design and execution.
On the ground, they start with Josh McCray. Short gain on first down for McCray. Illinois has been outscored 25-10 here in the second half.
That's really amazing. But again, I keep coming back to what I'm seeing on tape. This team, the Boilermakers, has some parts, some assets that are out there. It's just the change has been so abrupt, they've not been able to leverage that properly.
They move Thieneman up close to the line of scrimmage for Purdue. Thieneman's in the box. It's going to be a pass. Altmaier spits it out to Beatty. And Beatty is tackled in space but not until he gets a first down. Karloftis with the tackle. It's a gain of 14.
Well, you got to do a better job, Nyland Green, boundary corner of tackling here. Watch number 2 when he comes back. You got the end stood up. Number 2 comes in. He's got help inside, and he's just reaching. No, you can't do that, man. You can't worry about getting hurt. You got to go take those high heels off and get after that guy. Bring him down.
Sound like Jerry Glanville.
That was a Jerry-ism, by the way.
First down at 10. Purdue showing blitz. And McCray stumbles forward to the 45-yard line.
Illini doing a wonderful job with what we could call a tandem pull effort, where you've got 2 guys, a tackle and a guard, pulling. There's a down Illini.
Is the man down for Illinois. Priestley's been the right tackle since game number 1 this year for Illinois.
He's been one of the main cogs in a much improved line.
So we've got an injury timeout. Exactly 9 minutes to play here in Champaign. Welcome back, everyone. Melvin Priestley was able to slowly walk off the field. We have a change on that offensive line. Zy Chrysler, who had been a starter, didn't start today. He is in the game right now. He is on that right side with Brandon Henderson. So it's Chrysler and Henderson on the right side of the line for Illinois. Chrysler comes back into his customary right guard, and Brandon Henderson bumps out to his right tackle. It is second down and 6. Illinois leads, but only by 6. Altmaier throws a slant, and that's behind the intended receiver, Pat Bryant.
Terrion Grant, the field cornerback, is defending on that last play. And again, it just shows you these balls have to be thrown with accuracy and on point in front of the receiver for them to have a chance. That's great defensive play by number 12.
And good news for Illinois fans, Melvin Priestley's back into the game. 58's back in at right tackle.
The big cat.
Chrysler stays in the game, and it's Henderson who leads. Okay, this is a massive play for Illinois. Third down and 6. They lead, but only by 6 points.
We'll get a timeout here. Talk about this.
Charge timeout. Illinois, they're first. 30-second timeout.
Big play. This is a huge play right here, partner. You talk about ebb and flow in the course of a game. Right now, you got to be mindful of the fact that this Purdue Boilermaker team has shown a prowess and an ability to come back and score. And in each of these series, there's been a different person responsible for that production. So if I'm a coordinator, I'm trying to defend this, I'm mindful of all of these individual parts. Who am I going to defend? How am I going to try to do it? And that can put a little consternation in you, man. This is a great game.
This is the 100th meeting all-time between Purdue and Illinois. Purdue leads the all-time series, and they've won 4 consecutive, including 6 consecutive games here in Champaign at Memorial Stadium. Clearly coming into this one, the world thinking that Illinois was the favorite.
Yep, and Ryan
but don't
Walters,
count out the Purdue Boilermakers.
No question, and that's the primary reason why you don't. It's Ryan Walters' familiarity with what the Illini does from a defensive, offensive standpoint. He's got the moniker of a defensive kind of guru, but he understands offense as well. And that was one of the things that Jason Simmons was unpacking to us, that said when he came in, Ryan Walters, and unpacked for us what we need to do here, he was cognizant of every aspect of the game. And he said that gave him a measure of confidence that he wouldn't have had otherwise, that this guy is not just a one-trick pony knowing one side of the ball. So he gave them an overall plan that they bought into. And you can see it being manifest here today.
All right, the officials ask the Illini to break the huddle. And somehow, after all that time off, it looks like Luke Altmaier still wants more time. Third down and 6. They need to cross the 50 and get to the 49.
Well, they flipped the okay, they're going to motion out of it good because they got 3 receivers into the short side of the field. That ain't going to work.
Altmaier, tons of time. Nobody open.
Nice.
Caught. It's McCray. First down, and McCray looking for more. High jumps to the 25.
I tell you what, this is something special right here. Real-time decisions is what you've got to make. Watch him turn this Altmaier into a run-pass option. He's coming to the line of scrimmage, knows where it is. A defender comes up in his face, and that's Kadrian Jenkins, the middle linebacker.
Further review for potential targeting.
Yeah, I saw that at first blush, and I don't think that that's going to be an issue. It was Altmaier who got hit after he threw it. I think that was just a shoulder.
Now, Kydron Jenkins, number 4, the middle linebacker, the Mike linebacker, he was the guy that was at the point, and I'm not quite sure.
See, here's the hit on Altmaier.
Yeah. So I just think the decision-making by Altmaier to know where the line of scrimmage is, and that helmet, boy, that's right square in the sternum and under the chin, right?
I guess I didn't see it as well as I thought I did.
He's trying to pull off, but it's way too late to pull it off from that. That crown was down into the breastplate, head, neck area, chest.
Got to see what you hit. That's Kydron Jenkins, who is in danger of being dismissed.
Taking a walk, yep. Good thing about it, they let the kids stay on the sidelines now, but you know, again, keeping your head up, and I think even being mindful of the fact that it's a quarterback, even more in your mind to kind of stay up, right? Because the guy is going to be protected. You know that. The rules are leaning toward them and have been for a better part of a decade now.
And they always talk about defenseless player. Quarterback in that situation.
After review, there is no foul for targeting on the play.
Wow, good. They called that off.
Okay.
Well, let's see what
we're hearing. It was the side of the head. Side of the head into the chest.
Okay. I was just curious what made that face mask move downward. So that was
well, to me, it's such a punitive penalty. I've never, you know,
sure,
unless it's
tough.
Absolutely just horrific.
And then that's where the flexibility has to come. And there has to be some discretion, I think, given to these officials to make those calls.
First down at 10. Outskirts of the red zone. Ball spotted at the 27. Valentine, freshman running back behind Altmaier. He's got it. And Valentine, probably not enough age to get that pile moving forward. He's only 190 pounds. He'll grow into that frame.
I love Joe Anderson and Cole Brevard, number 91. That line is just so strong. I mean, not going to get a lot of yards rushing against them.
Purdue's last win came week 1. They didn't win the entire month of September. Their only win, August 31st, home game against Indiana State. 4 straight losses. Veteran McCray back in the game. They give it to McCray.
Nice, good job.
And he's tackled by Jenkins. And Jenkins thrilled he's still in the game.
No
Takes it out of McCray.
And you saw that energy, man. You jumped on that, Eric. And that's exactly what I said. When a guy feels like he's got a second shot at life, man, another life. Kydron Jenkins came in there in that middle linebacker position and made a tremendous play. Look, somebody shot him out of a cannon. Watch him come and read and react here. This is exactly how you teach it. He read flow initially, took a false step to one side, but discern where the run was going to end up and made a great play.
Third down at 7. Altmaier, he's been doing it with his legs. First down, Illini. 14 more yards on the ground for Luke Altmaier.
Well, you know, there's always hidden stars. Pat Bryant, I think number 13 is on the outside, and you can see him once him get width and then provide a block downfield. Okay, he's releasing to the outside. When Altmaier pulls this ball down, he's going to pick his number 13 back up again downfield, making a great play, and he gives him an additional 3 or 4 yards on the back end. I love these wide receivers, particularly the long, tall ones who are willing to give up their body and block.
Altmaier came into this game 39 carries, 30 yards. He averaged less than 1 yard per carry through the first 5 games of the season. McCray to the 3.
I think McCray should have followed Priestley, this right tackle who pulled that last play. I think the hole was just a little bit to the left, but real estate is hard to come by down here. Now in the green area inside the 5-yard line.
Josh Kreutz, the center. Second generation center at the highest level of college football.
Yeah.
That Olin.
Oh, yeah.
No much better than him. Long-time Chicago Bear Pro Bowler.
What is this, 6-time Pro Bowler, if memory serves? Let's see if that vaunted defensive front holds up here, down here with Cole Brevard, Joe Anderson and company. Can they do it when it matters most?
McCray! Touchdown, Illinois! zone for Josh McCray. 2 rushing, 1 receiving, and the lead is 12 with an extra point coming.
This Illini front has decided I'm going to be a complete unit. Not only have they protected their quarterback extremely well, they've also blocked in those crucial moments when they've needed to get those yards. None more important than down at the 3-yard line for the score.
Highlighted Josh Geske. He had a nice block to open up that hole for McCray. And now Illinois is going to go for 2. All right, they lead by 12. That makes sense. Okay,
yep.
Make that lead 14. I just think that Illinois was already on the bench. The offense was celebrating. They'd kind of taken it off.
Yep.
And now you're asking them to get an important 2 points here. Are they still locked in? We'll see. Aiden Lawfrey is the back next to Altmaier. Altmaier. Extra point is good. 2 points for the Illini. Aiden Lawfrey. And late flags come on the field.
I think it's going to be against the Illini. And that's unfortunate, too, because Lawfrey, we thought we may figure into the run game in some form.
Illegal man downfield, maybe?
But he slipped out late. Now he's an eligible receiver, so but it's going against the Illini, though.
Pass interference, offense, number 73, 15-yard penalty. Repeat the try.
That'll be the first time that Josh Geske
Yeah, that's your left guard there.
ever gets an offensive pass interference. That's rare, to say the least.
It really is. You can see him at the left guard, number 73 here. I think he's going to hook one of those guys downfield. I'm not sure what that was about.
Well, it definitely influenced the play. It definitely influenced Lawfrey getting open enough to make the catch. All right, now do you question going for 2?
Yeah, it looks a little
ball's going to
greedy.
be spotted on the 18-yard line.
Yeah,
is this still realistic to think you can get 2, or just take better odds of a single extra point kick?
Absolutely. I don't think you try to go for 2 down here. I understand in the era that we're in why you would attempt to do something. They're going to try to go for it. It's crazy.
This is worth 2 points.
Wow.
Altmaier.
Wow.
Lawfrey tackled at the 2. A lot of excitement and a cannon being blown off.
And that's a shame, too, because you got a bunch of real estate yards eaten up on that play. Only get to the doorstep again. That's a high improbable play to get in for 2 on that. That's just not quite sure what that's about.
All right, so Illinois will have to settle for the 6 from number 6. And they lead by 12. They still have to feel relatively comfortable. There's 5:05 remaining in our game.
Yeah, I like the idea of that 40 spot hanging up there, though, because it just, in the era that we're in, perception is reality. We live in a world of images and impressions, and when it comes down to it, this now current team with 1 loss continues. I know they've got a tough stretch coming ahead, Michigan around a corner. But if they can still be standing, looking positive and good, and Penn State continues to thrive, it's only going to elevate them to when that subjective committee looks back and say, well, they hung a 40 spot on this team. And look, Purdue's only going to get better from here on. I truly think they're a good team.
Purdue's going to have that quick turnaround. They've got the game Friday against Oregon. Illinois' next game will be right here a week from today. They'll celebrate the 100th anniversary, the dedication game of this building opening up. That was the game in which Red Grange scored 4 touchdowns in the first 12 minutes against Michigan. The Wheaton Iceman. Touchback. We had nothing but touchbacks heading into the end zone. Ball to be at the 25-yard line.
There's a lot of opportunity here yet for this Illini team. You know, Brett Bielema is 4-6. It's 400 winning percentage against AP-ranked teams since he's been here. And again, the schedule, the way it plays out, they've got a chance to build credibility is the point that I'm making. So the opportunity will be there to get better.
You got that plaque with Red Grange outside. There's a statue of the Galloping Ghost. Legendary footballers in the history of Illinois. Purdue's got it. They need 2 scores in a hurry. Brown Oh! His receiver turned his back, and Dylan Rosiak almost got a pick.
Well, you got to be mindful. You can't turn your back on your quarterback. And, you know, when he's scrambling, moving the ball upfield, you want to turn because you know that he can run. That's one of the downsides of having a mobile quarterback. At what point in time do you turn and run? It's really hard to have the kind of depth perception as a receiver to determine when he is going to run it or when he is going to throw it. And his tight end said, hey, look, I'm going to turn my back and block for you. And he says, wait a minute, I'm throwing it to you.
Well, both Rosiak and Strain dove for that ball, and Strain really never got up, but just for a moment. Strain is the man who was in pain on the field. Tyler Strain really had not played much at all this year, but he's gotten some major playing time here in our fourth quarter.
Well, I think he's got some talent and some skill, and I think in the era that we're in, you're going to see these guys who can play, who are gifted on the field as much as possible. That's one thing that Aaron Henry talked about. He wants guys that are athletic, able to move, able to cover, and he's going to find a spot for them on the field.
You know, Ryan Walters in his second season at Purdue. Remember, he was just a ballyhooed coordinator in 2022. His defense was the #1 scoring defense in the entire country.
Yeah.
No team allowed fewer points per game than Ryan Walters' Illinois defensive unit.
He was so
incredible.
creative, so creative. He was so inventive in terms of what he, played a lot of man concepts, showed different pressure blitzes that was so confusing, hard to discern. And in this era where everybody's trying to simplify things so that guys don't have to think as much, his was complex. It was layered. And so what Aaron Henry has done is taken a kind of a hybrid form of what he did and simplified it to the extent that he can. And he gave us some examples yesterday of how he does that. And I think it's important because there's so much turnover, no plans, no playbooks, anything like that. They try to find the cultural connections with these young kids and build plays around the things that they know.
Second down and 10. Four-man rush. Brown spits it out to Maccabee. Spun out of bounds after a gain of a yard, maybe 2. Matthew Bailey in hot pursuit.
Great job of staying alive and trying to create with something. It's third down. It's a pressure situation now, and it's more than 5 yards, so you're going to expect pressure.
Probably not a punting situation for Purdue. They probably have 2 plays to get a yard.
Yeah, no question. I think they do. But with all their timeouts,
okay,
they may feel like they can live.
All right, third down and 8. Pressure.
Nice.
Brown. He can run for it.
Got it.
He's got the first down. That guy can scoot.
He sure can. And, credit Jason Simmons for creating a release path away from coverage. And you may say, well, that's just a guy making a great play. No, it's also about how your routes are designed. If you have routes that are running away from the area that you want to release to, the chances of there being a defender over there are slimmer.
Brown has now gone over 100 yards. He's the first Purdue quarterback to run for 100 yards since Rob Henry in 2010 at Northwestern. I did that game. Oh, it is incomplete. That was Matthew Bailey, who was dreaming of a pick.
Well, Matthew Bailey had it in his gun sights. I thought he was going to pull that thing down, man, and just couldn't control it and complete the play. Good effort, though. Watch number 7 here again. Brown sees what he wants to go with it. The ball is out, but watch Bailey make a break on it, go hands ball that. Pulled it in with the right, doesn't complete the control, tries to turn his body to present the ball to the official. Just can't control it.
Second down at 10. Brown lofts it.
Oh, my gosh.
That's the tight end, Bibber. First catch of the day for Drew Bibber.
And here's what Brown has on this play. It's the touch and the field. You know how many quarterbacks that doesn't have enough experience either overthrows this ball, underthrows it. The context affects them, but he just literally lofts this ball in between coverage. A high safety underneath coverage there. He puts that ball like a dime.
3:15 remaining in our game. Brown leaves it for Love. And the former Illini back goes out of bounds. Clock will stop at the 3:11 mark momentarily, and now we move it again.
Well, see, that 7 yards puts them in a position where Jason Simmons now has a chance, actually, with the down to spend if he wants to. So if you're the Illini, you're trying to figure out, hey, what's going to work here? Aaron Henry, what kind of defense you're going with? You're going to go with man coverage? Are you going to go with some form of zone?
Look at how slowly these Illinois defenders are leaving the field, knowing that the officials will stop until they get off.
Yeah.
That cost 20 seconds for Purdue. Brown. He's been effective on the run. And Brown dives forward to the 22. Clock will stop temporarily. Nope, it's going to keep going.
I tell you, Brown is so effective at being a field general. That's the one thing I'm seeing in this series in the latter part of the game. He is becoming expert at directing.
Brown. The dump down. And Love is tackled inbounds. Remember, the clock doesn't stop until you get to that 2-minute timeout these days once you get a first down.
Yeah, it'll take it to 2 minutes here.
And we have made it to the 2-minute timeout. We still got a ball game.
This is a 2-minute timeout.
Purdue's got the ball, down by 12 with exactly 2 minutes to play. This game is still in doubt. We've got 2 minutes remaining. Purdue's down 12, but they've got the football and they're knocking on the door. They got the ball on the 18-yard line. Today's hardest working player, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. The first half, nothing to write home about for Ryan Brown. The second half has been impressive.
He has really been impressive, and he's been a leader. He's been more than just a steward of an offense in transition. He has been an orchestrator, conducting, creating, finding receivers, and running it when necessary. He has been a 5-2 quarterback today.
Reason to smile if you're a Boilermaker fan. Maybe they found something. Second down at 7. Touchdown is needed for Purdue. Maccabees got it down to the 2-yard line. And now the clock will stop as we're inside 2 minutes and they get a first down. Clock will stop temporarily as Purdue gets to the line and the chains move.
That's what I meant when you're operating, executing, finding Maccabee coming right down that hash on a skinny post route.
Our clock's moving again.
Soft spot in the middle of this defense. You can run it on this.
They do. Maccabee reaches and scores. Touchdown, Purdue. Devin Maccabee's had his typical really good ball game. Give him another touchdown. And this is now a 6-point game.
You see that little soft spot in between the center and number 77? It's a natural void. And these uneven fronts, when there's no one over every single player, those are the voids. And so you call it at the line of scrimmage, but when you go up there, if nothing changes, you go with the play that you've called. If the other guy's covered, you go to the opposite side. It's just this is what I mean when I say orchestrating. This kid has grown up right in front of our face today.
Pour at the extra point. It's a 5-point game. The Purdue Boilermakers could not score a touchdown a week ago against Wisconsin. They put 35 points on the board against a really good Illinois defense.
And how about the impressiveness of this drive? Dropping a dime to find your tight end, the mobility to get outside the pocket and then push the ball upfield and then make a guy miss at the end and put him in a conflict scenario. And then how about Maccabee? The eyes and the vision. You got running backs catching the ball like receivers down there, sensing the critical point of the game and then coming up clutch. And you got to believe that Ryan Walters is pleased with the success he's had.
Purdue has all 3 timeouts. They'll be kicking into the wind. Is this a standard issue onside kick, or do you think about maybe something different? A pooch kick, straight up kicking it away? There's a lot of different options right now with you have 3 timeouts.
Well, the wind is still high, so I would try to do to them what they did to you. I try to get that ball up as high as I can, and I know around that low levels where the wind starts to kick in. And then hope the ball hangs up a little bit. Maybe you can get down and cover.
They tried the standard issue. Onside kick.
They got it. They got it.
Who's got the ball?
Wow.
Purdue's got it. Oh, my goodness. Teron Grant jumps on the football. The straight-on onside kick fooled Illinois.
And And no rush as we look at the onside kick again. The hands team is there to cover it up.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, nobody goes after the ball. There's the word about trying to block the kicker and then the hands guys.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that is impressive.
This is the 23rd ranked team in the country, the Illinois Fighting Illini, and that is a colossal blunder.
And there's no rush. It's an eternity with the minute and 34 seconds on the clock. I mean, you got plenty of time. Just make sure you can move the chains at least once to get another first down to put them in conflict defensively.
Riding the second string quarterback Ryan Brown, Purdue is a touchdown away from taking the lead. Here's Maccabee. And Maccabee has it up for the first down. Nope, they're going to say he was short, and so the clock continues to move.
That's all right. You know, it's a great situation to be in. It's 3rd and 1. Go ahead and get your first.
So the clock moving.
Second down. So go ahead and get your first down. You got a down to give. Plenty of time. Plenty of downs.
Brown's got it.
Run it.
Caught. Tibbs has got it all the way down to the 13-yard line. And now the clock stops with exactly 60 seconds to play. It'll stop until the chains are in place. Gain of 21.
The death hand of Brown, man, he has been something special.
Crowd here stunned. Brown looking for Maccabee. Touchdown, Purdue! Good golly, Miss Molly. Who saw this coming? 46 seconds remain. Purdue leads.
Well, I tell you what, this has been a clinic down here by a guy who had a very, very small resume, and Brown shows you. He says, hey, the moment's not too big for me. What do you got? Bring it on. We're ready to play. Oh, that's good stuff.
Purdue calls a timeout. Play clock was winding down. They want to make sure this is a good play with everyone involved. They're already up by a point. They want to go up by 3. So they're going to attempt a 2-point conversion.
Wow.
Ha! The biggest lead for Illinois was 27-3. They were up 24 points at one point.
Well, that in and of itself has got to be some kind of record in this rivalry. Being able to come back. I know they've beaten and been dominant, but nobody anticipated them being dominant this year. If he wasn't on the hot seat coming in, some people thought there was a little bit pressure on Brett Bielema a little bit, but getting off that 5-1 start, man, that put him in a different stratosphere with more potentially out there.
This is a huge 2-point conversion. If they don't get it, Illinois just needs a field goal to win, which is ambitious. If Purdue does get this 2, a field goal would tie. Illinois would need a touchdown to win in regulation.
I think this is inconsequential. I really believe that. I think 46 seconds is way too much time, and it doesn't matter if you get the touchdown.
Purdue going for 2. Design rollout right side. Brown caught. That's Edrin. So give him the 2. It's a 3-point lead for Purdue.
And we told you that this team has some part. Edrin goes up in one, hands that ball. The clutch context tells you a lot about the situation. It doesn't develop the character. It exposes what kind of character you had. Look at this ball. He goes up in one, hands that, mindful of where he is, gets his feet down, touchdown. I mean, score, extra point. That's just impressive, man. These kids are not moved by the moment. Absolutely undaunted.
Illinois has fallen apart like a $3 suitcase. They had a massive 24-point lead that is all gone now, but they still have 46 seconds to wriggle out of this.
Well, partner, you and I talked about this yesterday. They say familiarity breeds contempt, and everybody knows that Ryan Walters is familiar with what this program is about. And it may not be contempt, but it is certainly dominance. That's for sure. They've got the mastery, man. Oh. Oh, my God.
Coming up and making the running catch. Wilcher out to the 27-yard line. That is where Illinois will start. How about this comeback for Purdue?
What's impressive, orchestrated against, set up by a great catch by Maccabee, so why not give it to him and get him in there? He helped you in the pass game. And then the onside kick to recover with the hands teams, earning their keep. And then the touch deft by the running back again on the wheel route on the back end of the end zone. And Brown says, hey, man, I can do it for you. Just put me in, coach. But your resume's not long enough. That's all right. Let's make one tonight.
Illinois has 2 timeouts. They had to burn one. At the time, we didn't think it was very consequential, but they had to burn a timeout earlier in the second half. 42 ticks remain. Altmaier. This is burning a bunch of time. Incomplete. Incomplete. 34 seconds remain.
When you look at the skill set of these guys in the back end, it sure comes up in the moment. I'm just totally impressed with how athletic this back end is starting to show, but it's the crisis that's exposing all of this. Alessandro showing you defensive prowess on that last play.
Altmaier lobs it up. It's caught by Bryant. Prayer answered for Illinois.
And you know they've got a kicker that's got a big foot, right? The concentration getting the snow cone that ball. Big chunk yardage there. 34 net yards, and they are on the doorstep.
Illinois got a kicker in Ethan Machowski, who made a 59-yarder earlier this year. He's not the regular kicker, but he's the guy who's got the big leg. 28 seconds remain. Altmaier from behind goes down. Ball comes out late, but it's blown dead.
And the bigger issue, partners, it puts them out of field goal position or in an untenable position where they've got to get significant yards to get back in range. The pressure coming up is just a 4-man rush initially. Altmaier pulls it down. Jenkins catches him from the back.
First sack of the day for Jenkins, his 21st career sack as a Boilermaker.
And you can sense that these Boilermakers sense the bigness of this moment, right? You can feel it in them. So much talent here hitting, waiting to be molded, put together.
That ball was on the way of coming up, and the left knee of Altmaier hit the ground relatively early in that process. This is being looked at.
Wow.
We've got 19 seconds. And the officials now signifying that.
Ruling on the field, the runner was down. The play's under further review.
Yeah, you knew that was coming.
Yeah.
The officials were buzzed and told that this needs to be looked at a little longer. So Jenkins gets the sack. He tried to strip it away. The ball was loose, but where was the left knee of Altmaier?
So
is it loose yet?
Yeah, it's coming out. And he may have lost control of it before his knee hit the ground, partner. I think that ball is out, actually. They may get this ball. They are going to get this ball. The Boilermakers are going to get this ball.
Is this loose to you? Is that
yeah,
loose
the
to
ball,
you?
He doesn't have control of it. That ball is out.
He's got it trapped against his leg.
He has no control of it, though, Aaron. That ball
I don't see it moving around.
Can we see that again?
This is huge, folks.
Oh, it is huge.
I think we're going to differ on this. To me, he still had control. Mike Pereira is with us. Mike, can you give us a sense of what is loose and what is not loose in what we saw?
Well, again, this is kind of those where you have to look back at what they ruled on the field. You do see the ball roll, but was that leg down?
The field stands is called second down.
And again, that's what you're looking at here, and it is really close. And again, I think replay, at least we've seen in here today all day long, they've done a good job of staying what they call on the field unless it's clear and obvious. I agree with this.
Mike, thank you so much for your help. Great stuff. Okay, so the call on the field stands. Not upheld, it stands. And we've got 19 seconds to play. The ball is on the 48-yard line. Not in field goal range yet. Franklin can't make the play. It's now third down and 17.
Tillman coming all the way from that defensive position on the back end.
Okay, partner. So it's third and 17. If they only get 15, they're going to have to call a timeout and kick a field goal. You're running out of time here. Yeah, this is a huge play.
They've got one play. The way I see it, they've got one play to make a decision to expend that timeout and then get on the field to try to kick it.
Illinois with one timeout remaining. Altmaier has to leave the pocket, throws on the run, it's caught by Beatty, and he gets out of bounds! Oh my goodness! They don't have to use a timeout. There's 7 seconds remaining.
Now you got to be really careful here. You talked earlier in the show, partner, about how Brett Bielema is such a great gamesman. Inside receiver, I like the idea of getting to the guy who's closest to the quarterback and to the sideline so he can get out of bounds.
Clock is at a full stop because Beatty got out of bounds. There's 7 seconds remaining. They're clearly in field goal range, are the Illini. Altmaier to the end zone! Incomplete. Incomplete. First time all day long he's been looking the way of Malik Elzy. There are still 2 seconds remaining, and now you've got to kick the field goal.
You got to kick it. You can't risk this. But again, the ball is up and contested. You know, I'll tell you, that could have been a pass interference. Here's why. Only because as a defender, you eliminate that potential if you turn back and identify where the ball is and present your body. What a moment.
This will be a 38-yard field goal attempt. David Olano. The holder is Hugh Robertson. The kick is good. And we've got overtime.
Overtime.
By the skin of their teeth, the Fighting Illini make it down the field and get a 38-yard field goal to tie it through 60 minutes.
Yeah, but how about the chain of events that got us to this point? You talk about gutsy young men getting after it. Ryan Walters' team's back against the wall, mustering touchdowns down the stretch. Critical plays with his hands team on special teams. Understanding the historic mastery he's had against this bunch, not taking it for granted. It's impressive.
For those of you looking for the Washington State-Fresno State games, available streaming live on the Fox Sports app and on FS2. We'll get you out there at the immediate conclusion of our game. No reason to leave now, though, folks. We have got a fantastic, classic Big Ten trophy game being played here at Memorial Stadium. We got the Cannon Trophy on the line. Everyone thought that this was going to be handed over to Illinois, but Ryan Walters and the Purdue Boilermakers picked themselves up off the mat, and they have played super well, particularly in the second half.
And there's that little cannon, and it's been blown off today.
For the overtime period, we'll play at the 25-yard line going in, okay, on the first one. Visitors call the toss. Your choices, the winners can choose offense, defense, or the end of the field to play. You can't defer, okay? Steal this coin, heads, tails. What's your call? Tails. We'll let it hit the ground. It's tails. Purdue's won the toss and chosen to go on defense. You want to play on that end? Okay. Illinois gets the ball.
So Reggie Love, the former Illini fighting Illini tailback, he calls and wins the coin toss. We've got extra football here from Champaign. Overtime in a moment. It is a 43-43 tie, Illinois and Purdue. We've got overtime. We just had our coin toss. Purdue won. They chose to defend to begin overtime. Each team's going to start possession, 25-yard line going in. You get an extra timeout in each overtime period. You must, Spencer Tillman, attempt a two-point conversion following a touchdown starting in the second overtime period, and after that, we're just going to go for two.
I think that was one of the great advances of this protocol right here, is that we're going to get a winner here, right? So that's what these guys worked so hard to get to this point. Somebody deserves to be a winner.
And it's going to come pretty quick. Altmaier to the end zone. Did he? He did! Touchdown, Pat Bryant! That was quick. Altmaier to Bryant has been a popular combo this year.
Pat Bryant, the senior from Atlantic Coast, shows you that length that he has comes to bear. Uses that left arm to stiff arm just a tad a little bit. IDs that ball and grabs it with his hands, high points it, and keeps his feet in bounds for the score. And Altmaier says, hey, that's it, man. That's what we do.
Olada's been perfect today. His extra point, right as rain. And it is a quick 7 for Illinois. I shouldn't say it out loud, but they've got Dick Butkus' number. You can't lose when you get a Dick Butkus.
Barry Lunny says, this is what we've got for you. We're not going to waste it. We're going to take a shot on the first play, our opportunity here of this extra session. And he goes up, allows Patrick to use that extra length, 4.5 inches over the defender here to convert on the very first opportunity try in this overtime session. They got him dancing a jig.
All right, so Purdue has taken a punch. They'll have their shot.
That steel-eyed look right there, Brett Bielema. It looks like he's not phased, doesn't it? All
this is an Illinois team with one loss. It was a total respectable, understandable loss on the road against a great Penn State team. You don't want to slip on a banana peel against Purdue. It looked like they were going to.
Yeah, and you know, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but again, we live in a world of images and impressions, and we know they've struggled, so you were going to get hammered if you did fall to them. This team right here has nothing to hang their head about. Purdue is a decent, in terms of talent, they've got some talent on his team.
The inverted wishbone. Maccabee. This guy's the truth. Maccabee! Pushed out of bounds inside the 5. I love me some Maccabee. He can scoop.
True to his name, Maccabee is on a mission. Maccabee hightails it, does a nice job of stutter stepping, squats it down and heads to the outside and gets on that edge and switches that ball inside, tries to get it inside, but he just comes up short, but he puts him in a position where if they can't get it on one, they're going to try to get it on number 2.
Maccabee goes over 100 yards with that dash. The former Illini back, Reggie Love, into the game.
Reverse.
End around. Touchdown, Donylon Morissette. That's Armand Branch. Are you kidding me? Armand Branch hadn't played all season long.
How about that?
They bring him into the game. The very first time he touches it, it's a touchdown. Armand Branch had not played in 5 full games until touching it overtime.
And I can tell you, partner, you can preach with what you're seeing here today. All these guys who have heretofore done not a lot for this ball club in these big moments stepping up. Watch the reverse here. Brown just pitches it and just tosses it in the air. And the guy, as you said, hadn't touched the ball all year, is in there making the play, just waltzes in and looks like a veteran as he does it. I mean, Jason Simmons, how about the Nats to make this call, man? This guy is just something else. I mean, you see some of that head coaching aura that he's had at 3 different stops coming to bear.
Are they going to go for 2? I think they are.
They're on the road. You know, I tell you what, I see over the course of the game, you make notes, and you've got your staff up top. And this is a team effort. I guarantee you they've got some intel. They've got 1 or 2 plays in their back pocket to know down on the doorstep they can take a shot here.
Oh, my goodness.
Why not go for it? You're on the road,
The Purdue
man.
Boilermakers are going to go for 2 and win the ball game right here. Oh, boy. Ryan Brown, the quarterback, his first collegiate start. He's going to have Mockabee next to him for the win. Brown.
Got him.
In trouble. Goes down. It's over. Illinois wins. Dylan Rosiak, the play of the day defensively for Illinois. What a ball game.
No injury of any sort is going to stop Dylan from making this play. He's been nursing a bad groin injury, but he stays in the pocket with Brown and brings him down. Just a wonderful job and passion coming forth from these Illini players, man. This is something special for them.
So for the first time in a long time, after 4 consecutive defeats, Illinois takes down Purdue and they win the Cannon Trophy. Wow, what a ball game. 50-49 is the final score. Illinois wins. Sure hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, folks. My partner, Spencer Tillman. I'm Eric Collins. Now let's send it to Washington State and Fresno State.